body cam, you've not reviewed any kind of radio traffic, you've not reviewed any
No, sir.
witness statements, you've not reviewed any ranger reports?
No, I have not.
And so you can talk about the training, but you would not be able to talk about, I guess unless I gave you a fact scenario and asked you, but you would not be able to talk about any in specific about how Adrian, whether or not Adrian followed the training or not.
Very little, sir.
Okay. And so, like for instance, and I'm assuming I know the answer, since we're here and we're in the hearing, I just want to make sure that I'm right about it. This map, have you reviewed this map?
I've seen it.
Okay. And so I know you were talking about, like, you know, in parks or whatever, like, were you talking about that in relation to like this open field here or this area here, these areas out in the open?
That would be both.
Okay. Both.
Open area, a big park, or in and around buildings.
Mm-hmm. I got it. And so you're going to talk about there was training, open area, in and around parks, and also inside a building. That's what your training covered.
Yes, sir.
Now, as far as any information about, any information about, like, for instance, other officers being here with a line of sight to the building, you didn't review any of that information or no?
I know about it, but I haven't reviewed it, sir.
Okay. So you know about it from, I guess, your conversations?
Apparently it started a little bit early today. This is outside the jury's presence. I didn't catch
Sir,
the first part of
I'm sorry,
it.
repeat your backwards to me. I'm very hard of
I
hearing.
apologize. That's 101. Don't do that. So I guess my question is, did the DA, did you get your information about those three officers from the prosecutor in your conversations with him, or just from, I guess, watching this? And
Well, I haven't watched any of this.
Mm-hmm.
All right, sincerely, I don't remember. I don't know if it's something I read in a news report. So everybody understands that I got the subpoena for this in December 10th, and that is when I stopped reviewing and watching any news reports on this. Now, once court started, Your Honor, completely cut off everything from any conversations at all.
And I'll just tell you, I appreciate understanding that you did it, but they have told me from the beginning they were offering you as an expert, and so you would have been able to.
I'm going to object to that, Your Honor. They asked what I was going to offer, and I said, it's just doing training, and he said, well, that may be an expert, so would you please call him in? So I have not designated him as an expert. That is a misrepresentation to the court.
Well, it's not intentional. I mean,
I didn't say it was intentional.
Okay, I got it.
Oh, I was
We don't
saying
need to
this-
argue that. Let's just go. Let's go. Come on.
Okay, sure. So
When the engagement news broke, Kylie shared on Good Morning America.
that may or may not be me, but it stopped. The
That the entire family was.
I guess ultimately the
I'm trying to catch up too because I wasn't aware.
ultimately then your understanding is that you are simply offering your testimony as to the facts of your training course, your training, and the fact that Adrian took your training. Can you tell us when he took it?
I think it was 2018, sir. I'm sorry, Your Honor, may I look at this? Yes, sir, that would be, it was class 5-18, so the fifth class of 2018. The specific dates were from April 9th, 2018 to April 13th, 2018.
And is that done in Dallas?
No, sir, that was in Uvalde.
In Uvalde? So
Yes, sir.
I guess that's what I'm asking. So you go to Uvalde,
Yes, sir.
and were you training at Robb Elementary?
No, sir.
Okay. Where were you training?
We used the college, the police academy We used their grounds. Now, we did not go into schools, mainly because school was in session, if I recall correctly, but we had 70 false walls that we put up to represent long hallways, classrooms.
And in these scenarios you talked about with 75%, did any of those scenarios, do you have a, I guess because what we have is we understand, like, I understand what your course you're offering, but like, did you take any photos or?
Yes, sir. You'll have to forgive me. I went through a big move, and I don't know where those photos are at this time. But we took about 300 photos. That's kind of average for a class. Adrian was provided those pictures of the entire class.
And for the record, Your Honor, we have those photos and turn them over to the defense.
Okay.
But you don't have them here now, or you do?
No, sir, I do not.
Okay, but you do, and you do, and but he doesn't. Did you review those photos with that the DA has in his possession?
I gave them to him. So I did look at them in answer to your question.
Sure. I guess just in preparation for your test. One of the things about this hearing is I got to know what you reviewed in preparation for your test.
Okay, well, before I turned them over, I had to go through them and look at them, find pictures of Adrian in there to turn over.
Understood. Thank you. In any of these training scenarios, did it begin with a vehicle accident, like in front of the location?
No, sir.
Okay. And to your knowledge, do you know any mass shooting in the United States that have ever started with a vehicle accident?
Objection, Your Honor, this has become cross-examination.
No, I'm asking his expertise. I'm just wanting to know if he in
Okay,
order to
I'll
make.
overrule the objection. We're outside the presence of the jury. You can answer, sir. We're gonna need to conclude the hearing here pretty quickly, so let's go.
Sir, not to my knowledge.
Right. Okay. Oh, as far, because I did go through I did hear your resume, your SWAT experience.
Yes, sir.
And SWAT is Special Weapons and Tactics, right?
It is.
Okay, so your SWAT experience, how many years on SWAT did you have?
Well, Dallas SWAT, it was about 3 years. Back at Fort Hood, I ran the SRT, Special Reaction Team, helped them train. So that was 2 or 3 years. After that, I've been a member of different SWAT teams. Specifically, sure, my job was to help them train. I was completely crippled, so I was not a door kicker. I was a trainer.
Sure. Okay. No, and I appreciate your service in every aspect of your service.
Thank you.
Judge, I'll pass witness back.
No further question.
Okay, sir, you can, I don't know, is he gonna be the first witness?
No, sir.
Okay. I guess I don't think I've got a witness room for you, so you excuse to be called later on. Thank you very much. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you.
So I'm not exactly sure. I think they were trying to see if this guy could potentially be on the stand. I think they were trying to figure out his expertise. I got in a little late. I didn't realize that it was going to start that early. I remember them saying something about 8:30, but typically when that's happened, when it's outside of the jury presence and everything, like, we've literally seen that they'll do shit without the cameras on, you know? So I didn't believe that they were going to start at that point, but here we are, so we're starting a little bit early. Like I said, I was not expecting that. So, but I don't feel, just from listening in, I don't feel like we really missed out on anything. especially like nothing damning because it doesn't get to start yet. So I am very ill prepared right now. Like I said, just for the simple fact that I thought I would have been starting around this time. So I had to just jump in. Proffer witnesses are often under criminal investigation and are trying out. Oh, okay. Yeah, like I said, I kind of blindsided by this. But here we are. Welcome in, everybody. We are on day 8, I believe. Day 8 of the Adrian Gonzales trial. With that being said, if you don't realize who Adrian Gonzales is, he was the first officer on scene. He had the ability, well, this is what they're trying to find out, but we've seen the evidence. He had the ability to stop the shooter before he even went in, and didn't do so. So he's on trial. He's got 29 counts of child neglect and endangerment, 19 for the students of Rob that were killed, and 10 for the students of Rob that were in 112 but were not killed. Let me see, what else am I missing? Oh, shit, fucking bombshells yesterday. And I'm sure there was more than one, but the thing that is sticking out most in my head, because I was literally just going through and going to be clipping some stuff, is come to find out, Adrian taught the active shooter training. He was the active shooter trainer. So when he says that he doesn't know or he doesn't understand, what the fuck? He was actually the fucking trainer of them. Yeah, that came out yesterday. Yep. And also, another big thing is that on his after incident report, when the Rangers questioned him after the shooting took place, it was like 5:30 the next day on the 25th. His testimony lines up exactly right with the teacher that they threw out her testimony, which it wasn't. It was thrown out because it was Brady acted, right? And so what that is that the defense is saying that they weren't properly warned or let known of something, so they couldn't prepare their side. Which it was just one small thing. The defense was just going for a mistrial. Any way that they can, they're going to go for a mistrial. But literally, it was just one small thing, but the jury didn't forget that. You can tell the jury disregard this, yada, 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 and everything. When you have that testimony, and then, it's thrown out, you already heard it, and then when the defendant is literally saying the same fucking thing, you're not going to disregard that. So those were like two of the major bombshells to really hit yesterday. Which, holy shit. I think, he was trained to SWAT too. But literally the biggest thing though is like, he was the trainer. He trained the people for active shooters. Am I not allowed to be in the courtroom? Well, I didn't get the invite from the DA, but I wouldn't be there right now anyways. I'm gonna try to go the last day because I don't like watching my mouth, and so I don't want any issue or them trying to get a mistrial because I pop off because the DA would love to put that on me. So yeah, no. Me being up there, in there, is just one more eye on it. Me out here doing this, right now we have, let me see, 270 some odd people. You know what I'm saying? We have 270 plus eyes. And we had close to 1,000 yesterday. So more eyes are on it with me doing this, and I think that we really need to have as many eyes on it as possible. Yeah, if you want to know more about his training, go back onto my tube at Carl0524, and you will be able to watch it. We should be starting back in about like 6 minutes. Should be anyways. Should be starting back in about 6 minutes. Apparently they had a out of jury presence thing that they had to work out first thing this morning. But now we know if they say that again, if they're like, we have an out of jury, thing at 8:30 another day, then we'll be on here on town. They're proffering this guy as an expert. Okay. Oh. So, yeah. We are, once again, we'll be starting in about 5 minutes. Like I said, I didn't have time to get anything situated. You're watching at work every day. More people need to watch this trial. Absolutely. That's, like I said, that's why one of the reasons why we're doing it like this, so that more people will even will be able to watch. Judge has to review his credentials and propose testimony to decide whether to tell the jury he's an expert, because the expert. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rob, but the expert, they tend to have their testimony tends to be held in higher regard. Correct? Let me see. We'll definitely figure something out. That's for sure. There's a standard called Daubert that governs whether someone can be qualified as an expert. Okay. Yeah, and you will, because people don't understand. Like I saw it this morning too. I saw some comment on my shit. Oh, you're just the uncle. You're just the uncle. No. I took Uzi and his siblings in. They were my kids. So, like I say all the time, those people that try that bullshit, they're not denigrating me or my experience or anything like that. What they're doing is they're denigrating every other adoptive parent, step parent, foster parent, anybody that has ever, taken in other children. So blood doesn't decide who family is, right? It just doesn't. So you'll just have assholes. It'll be the same assholes that'll be like, we're pro-life, you should just adopt. But then when people adopt, they're like, you're not the real parent. Like, it's just miserable fucks being miserable fucks. That's it. That's all it is. And I don't lead any credence to it at all. Yep. Like I said, it doesn't bother me. I've been told way worse. But like I said, what it does is when people say that they're trying to attack me, but it doesn't attack me. I don't give a flying fuck. You know what I'm saying? But it does. It attacks everybody else in that situation. Like I know that Uzi called me dad. His siblings call me dad. That's it. That's all I give a fuck about. So yeah, well, you'll see that a lot. You'll see that a lot. Just heard a siren. But like I said, it is what it doesn't hurt my feelings. I swear to God, if I'm being swatted again, it's gonna piss me the fuck up. Piss me off. Sorry. Like I said, I was not prepared. I still haven't even got my second monster in me yet. Yeah, we've been swatted. We've been doxxed. They might be testing it out. The siren. I don't know. No, that shit's getting closer. What the fuck?
Okay, please be seated in the courtroom. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. This witness has been sworn outside the presence, so you may proceed when you're ready, Mr. Kern.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning.
Good morning.
Would you introduce yourself to the jury, please?
Yes, I'm Melody Flores.
And Ms. Flores, what do you do for a
This is the
living?
coach.
Well, I used to work at with the school district in Uvalde, and Rob.
And where do you work now?
I work in BVO ISD.
And what do you do at BVO ISD?
I'm a bus aide.
A bus aide?
Yes.
And tell us what a bus aide is.
Bus aide is when you go with the driver, and that's my part is the special ed bus. So I make sure they're seated with their seatbelts at all times and follow the rules on the bus.
So your assignment is basically the special ed children
Yes,
on the bus?
yes.
You help
Yes.
make sure they're following the rules while they're on
Yes.
the bus?
Mhm.
Thank you. And when did you start that work?
I started back in January, which I already have a year working with the. with
So you have
BVIS.
a year, so it's been just right out a year since you started that work?
Yes.
Okay. And before that work, what did you do?
I was working at with the school district in Uvalde, Rob, at that time.
And how long had you lived in Uvalde?
I want to say like 25 years.
25
And I
years?
worked with the school district there for 23.
Okay. And what did you do at the school district for those 23 years?
First I started off as a parent liaison, and then I started as an instructional aide. Like,
And tell us what an instructional aide
an
is.
instructional aide is helping a teacher with some of the students that need the extra help.
And the kids that need extra help, what kind of kids are we visiting about now?
They're like the lower, like
Excuse me?
the lower class, the lower, like their studies.
Their
So,
studies
yes.
need help,
Yes,
and you assist in that way?
yes, I did.
Okay. And in 2022, that school year, what were you doing?
The 2 years there at Rob, I was an instructional aide with the 4th grade teacher, and then these last 2 years there, I was a behavior unit aide and a special ed aide also.
Behavioral unit aide and special ed
Yes.
aide? Tell me what those two things are.
Special ed is I would do part helping with the special ed students, and the behavior unit I would do the other half with just a student. the
Behavioral
behavior,
aide, you would
with
just
the-
work with one student at
Yes,
a time?
I would do half and half day with them and the other
And what
half.
did you do with those students?
With those students,
When you aided, what kind of activities were you doing?
oh, of course, like if they would, I guess you wanna call it like, do a little outburst or something, just to calm them down, talk to them, and just to keep them calm.
So your job was to calm kids, behavioral kids down?
Basically,
if they're-
yes. Mhm. Yes.
And I'm sorry, sometimes I'm talking and you're talking and the court reporter's gonna yell at me if I do that, so. And so was that a full-time job?
Yes, yes.
When did your day start?
At Rob,
Yes.
like in the morning, or are you talking about the year?
Well, I was talking about the mornings,
The morning, my time was from 7 in the morning to.
Don't be a
3:30.
dick.
7 in the morning till 3:30.
Yes.
And where did you report at 7:30?
At 7, I would go into the office to clock in.
And after you clocked in, what did you do?
Then I would go set my stuff in the classroom and wait out there. Well, not wait, but to do the duty that I needed to do.
So before school started, you would do bus duty
Because I had to wait for some of the students.
for your kids specifically?
Right, yes.
And how many kids did you take care of?
At that time, it was 3, actually. You had to wait for 3 of them to get off the bus. There was 2 and 1, and then the other one was later on, a couple of minutes after, yes.
So 2 buses, but you ended up with 3
Yes.
children?
Mhm.
And what did you do with the children?
And then I would, of course, take them, if they needed to go to eat breakfast and stuff, I would take them, and then we'd report to the room, to the classroom.
Okay. And now I'll direct your attention to May 24th, 2022. You were working that day?
Yes, I was.
And did you go through the same procedure early in the morning that you just described to the jury?
Yes.
And did the kids go to the cafeteria then?
At that day, like I said, I was waiting for one of them to take them, but she didn't show up that day. But we did take the other students. Yes.
And so that morning, how many students did you have?
2 that got off the bus, but in the classroom we had about 4 or 5 that day.
That you were not responsible for taking off the bus, the other 2 or 3?
I was, but they, like I said, one of them didn't show up for that day.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you. What did y'all do that morning?
That morning we're just in the classroom, keeping them busy with activities and stuff like that before it was our time to report to the cafeteria for their awards.
So they had an awards day?
Yes.
And what time was the awards day?
I don't remember exactly what time. It was our turn to go to report to the cafeteria.
And how long did you stay at awards day?
We were done, and then we just waited there for a couple of more minutes, and we saw the other teachers with the classrooms, and while they were presenting the awards to them, I want to say maybe like, I don't know,
So you
20,
don't
30
have-
minutes, I guess.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Like 20 to 30 minutes that we stayed there, so they,
Okay. And are we in mid-morning now?
yes, just,
And then after the awards were presented, what did you and the class do?
like I said, we waited there for a couple of minutes, and then our teacher said, we're ready to take the students back to the classroom, so that's what we did.
And what age were these students?
We had 3rd and 4th graders at that time.
Okay. And did you get back to the classroom?
Yes, we did. We did.
And what happened next?
We were there, and and it was like almost time for them to have their lunch, where we had somebody bring their lunches to the classroom because they eat in the classroom.
Okay. Do all students have the option then of having their lunches brought to them in the classroom?
Yes.
Okay. And so, what did you do in regard to lunch?
What I did is, we were there, and of course we had the TV on, that's cartoons and music and stuff for them, and they were eating, and of course they were watching TV and stuff. And the teacher already was already eating her lunch, and I said, well, I'm gonna go ahead and warm up my lunch, and that's what I did.
So you were eating your lunch as the children were eating their lunch?
Right, just about, yes, because I was just barely warming up my.
And did anything disturb your lunch?
Yes, it did.
And what was that?
I had the school radio, which I carry with me.
Let me
And
stop you there then. Tell me about the school radio.
it's a radio that I carry where we can communicate.
And
At
who can you
office or,
communicate with?
excuse me?
Who do you communicate with?
Whoever calls me, or I need to call somebody.
Is it just for that school, just for
Yes,
Rob's
just
school?
for that, yes.
Okay. And is it just adults or is it kids too?
No, it's just for the employees only.
And you keep that radio with you?
Yes.
And you got a call on the radio?
Oh, I didn't actually get a call. There was a call, and we didn't understand what they had said, because the teacher said, "What did she say?" I said, "I have no idea, because I don't know. I couldn't understand." And then
So the first communication, you couldn't understand
No.
what was being said?
No. And then the second time it called, and they said that there was a shooter, and he was jumping the fence and had a gun.
Do y'all have a fence around Rob's school?
Yes, we do.
And could you describe that fence?
It's chain link, I think that's what you call it. It's all around the perimeter of the school.
Okay. And what were the words that you heard?
When we kind of understood, they said that he's jumping over the fence, he's shooting, he has a gun.
So a man jumping over the fence, shooting, and has a gun.
Mhm.
So what did you do when you heard those words?
When I heard that, I just got the radio, clipped it back where I would clip it at, and I just ran outside. And as I'm running outside, one of the coaches was running this direction, getting the other students and teachers, I guess, in. I don't know what they were doing or what they were at. So I run the opposite direction and run down a sidewalk where some fourth grade students and teachers were coming out from that door, from that building.
Let me stop you for a second. What is a lockdown?
A lockdown is where you get all the students in, make sure your doors are locked, lights are off, quiet.
The prosecution is not helping being a dickhead to their own witnesses, and then you have fucking slimeball, fucking Nico and Goss
High school
fucking being
chase,
nice to them.
Bailouts and things like that.
Would an indication that there was a shooter, somebody that jumped the fence and was shooting, would that cause a lockdown?
Yes, definitely, yes,
So normally you would stay inside and lock the doors?
yes.
Tell us why you didn't do that.
Because I knew the schedule that we had, and we already knew who was outside at that time and who wasn't, and things like that.
And who would be outside at that time?
Some of the students with some of the teachers either having recess or just coming out from lunch or before lunch in the playground.
So it was your understanding of the schedule that caused you to go outside?
Because what they had said, what was said on the radio.
And what was the schedule for people being outside at that time?
What was it, like I said, it was some were going out to recess, or some were going to lunch, or some were coming out from lunch.
And so that was your concern?
At that time, yes, because if there was kids outside, like I said, there were some of the classrooms and teachers were coming out from that fourth grade building door, and that's when, because that's when I heard that. Well, of course, we have to take precautions with that and stuff. And as I was running over there, I was telling them to get back in, and they were like, it's kind of confused for me telling them to go back in.
Who were you telling to go back in?
The classroom, the fourth grade classrooms that were coming out with some of the teachers.
And where on the fourth grade classroom were you?
I was running down the sidewalk, going to that building, to the fourth grade building. Because I was actually in my classroom at that time.
And the north side or the south side or the east side or the
It
west
was
side?
on the side of where the pavilion, where they have PE, that building, there's that door, they come out from there.
The announcement to you had been that there was a shooter?
Yes,
But wouldn't that pose a threat to you?
right, but I wanted to make sure that the kids were in and safe.
And so you ran to the south side.
Yes, and
Were there kids out?
they were coming out, yes, and then I believe
Coming
there
out
was
of where, ma'am?
the fourth grade building door.
Okay.
He's really starting to piss me the
And I
fuck
kept
off.
telling them to go back, and they were confused, like, why? And because there's
She's nervous.
shots,
There's
and that's
anxiety.
when they
There's fucking
ran back in.
panic still. And you're being a fucking dickhead.
And where were you when you were telling the children to go back in?
Like I said, I was running down the sidewalk, and when we all heard that, they went in, and I kept running to make sure if they all went in, I wanted to make sure that door was locked.
Okay. And so as you were running down this toward the fourth grade, did all the children get back inside?
Yes, at that, yes.
Did you leave until all the children got back inside?
I didn't make it to the door to see if it was locked or not.
So you were headed to the south door for the purpose of locking it?
Or making sure it was locked.
And why did you want the door locked?
So nobody would go in, whoever was there.
But you didn't make it to the south door?
No, I didn't.
Tell us why.
Because there's right there an area in the corner where the ACs are at, and it's fenced up. And that's when I saw the shooter right there.
Had you seen him before that period?
No, I didn't, no. It was
You
just
just
that
seen
time
the
when I
kids?
saw him.
And so it was right by the ACs?
Yes, right in the corner, that's where.
Describe what you saw.
like I said, I didn't make it to the door because that's when I saw him. He was wearing all black and a hoodie, and then the hoodie just fell off him and had curly that kind of shoulder length hair.
That puts him by the ACs, not on that back side,
And he
so
was
that
wearing all
Adrian
black.
could see.
And how did you know he was shooting at you?
Because he just stood there and lifted up this rifle as I started running back.
At one point, did you think it was a handgun?
I thought it was, at one point, yes.
Okay, but this is, a lot of media has passed since then, is that correct?
Yes.
But at the time, that's mainly what we want to know about, is at the time that you observed it as opposed to other influences, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So at the time, you thought it was what?
I thought it was just a regular handgun or something. I
And
didn't-
why did you think he was shooting at you?
I mean, because I was running and he just kept shooting, and when I looked back, all I could see was that he was still standing there. And all I could see was just the fire coming out of the barrel.
Okay. Now, when you saw him, what did you do specifically?
I just ran. I ran away from him.
And did you take a pattern as you ran?
I did. I was running, and
Excuse me?
I was running, and then I looked back. Like I said, that's when he was still standing there, and he was shooting, and I could see the fire from the barrel. And then all of a sudden, I ended up on the ground. I was on the ground.
You fell down?
Mm-hmm.
Let me stop for a second. I never asked you, do you recall what you were wearing that day?
I want to say some khaki slacks with the orange peach color shirt.
Okay. And you fell down?
Yes, I did.
And what did you think when you fell down?
I thought he had shot me.
Just because of the circumstances that
Yeah.
occurred? Had you been shot?
Have I?
Had you been shot?
No, I wasn't.
Okay. And how long did you stay on the ground?
I want to say just a couple of seconds because I was like, I need to make sure, these kids are in to make sure these kids, I take them in somewhere for them to be safe.
So you got up immediately?
Mm-hmm.
And what happened when you got up?
When I got up, I seen this vehicle drive right up to me, and I was telling
Describe
him
the vehicle?
it's a white vehicle. I know it was a PD vehicle, but it didn't have, all the, I guess you want to call this logos on there or something. It was just a plain vehicle, white vehicle.
And when you got up, where was the vehicle?
It was like kind of like almost parked
It
next
was
to
almost parked? And then
where I was at on the ground. when I
And
got
what
up.
happened then?
That's when I said that he was heading into the fourth grade building, and we needed to stop him. We needed to go in and stop him before he went in.
Who did you say that to?
It was a PD. I can't recall.
You didn't know him or be able to
I
identify him?
really didn't know who.
And what did you say to him?
I told him that he needed to get stopped before he went into the fourth grade building, and we needed just to stop him.
And what did he say?
He didn't nothing, because
Did you say it more than once?
I did
What did you say the second time?
the same thing, but
Which was what?
we need to go in and we need to stop him. He needs to be stopped before he goes into the fourth grade building.
Did you tell him what he was wearing?
No, I didn't, no.
Did you tell him where he was?
I think I told him he's right there running in, he's in the corner, he's running in to the fourth grade building.
And did you use any arm gestures to point out where he was?
I did.
Tell us about that.
I just kept pointing, he's going in there, he's going to the fourth grade building.
And how many times did you say that?
I want to say a couple of times.
And did you hear anything from this gunman while you were talking to the police officer?
To the gunman, the shooter,
Uh-huh.
I just kept hearing shots.
You heard gunshots?
Yes,
Where were they coming from?
that's where he was going into the fourth grade area.
That south area?
Yes,
Could you see the gunman at that time?
and no, I couldn't. No,
But you heard where the gunshots were coming from?
Yes.
And when you heard the gunshots, what reaction did that have with you?
like I said, I just had to make sure that everybody was in, the kids, and as I'm getting up and trying to find a place, I see a teacher, a second grade teacher. I'm not sure exactly what she was doing. I don't know if she was the last one in or she was opening. I don't know. So when I went over there, she told me if I wanted to go in. I said no, because I need to make sure your door's locked. And so.
Let me just stop. I think you're getting a little ahead of
Oh,
us at this time. How long had you been talking to the police officer when you heard the continued gunshots at the south end?
Couple of seconds,
Just a second or two.
maybe 3 to 5.
And how many shots did you hear?
Couple.
Okay. And when you heard the shots, did that cause a reaction from you? Did you say anything to the officer?
Like I said, I kept telling him that he needed to be stopped. He was going into before he goes into the fourth grade building.
And while you were talking to the officer, did anything on the east side of that fourth grade wing catch your attention?
The east side is you talking about
The side that, yes ma'am, that you were on?
it was just shots.
There were more shots? Did you see the window break?
I did not.
Excuse me?
I didn't.
Okay.
I could not see where I was at. I could not see it from the other side, but I could just hear
Okay, you
the
couldn't
shots.
see the west side?
Right. As
And then the other side, the east side, did you ever see any of those windows break?
not that I recall, no.
Okay. When you told the officer to go in, did he go in?
No.
What did he do?
Is he just stayed there? Because like I said, that's when I ran to see if everybody else was in and find a place.
He just stayed there?
I believe so.
And about how many times did you urge him to go in and do something?
Like I said, it was a couple of times,
A couple, does that mean twice?
2, 3 times.
2 or 3 times? Okay. Then what did you do?
And that's when, like I said, I got up and I saw the second grade teacher on her door of the classroom, and she asked me if I wanted to go in, and I said, no, I need to make sure your door's locked. and it was locked. And I went in, and when I went in, she already had the kids in the corner covered with her bookshelves, to protect them, and her phone was ringing, and her blinds were still up, and I said, you need to put your phone on silent or turn it off, and we need to put the blinds down and close them. So I guess while she was doing that, I'm not too sure, like I said, I put the blinds down and closed them up.
And where were you when this happened?
What do you mean? I was in,
What room?
I don't remember the room number, but it was a second grade teacher classroom.
While you were in the room, what happened?
And then I started looking around. I gathered some papers from different desks that were there and taped them up and taped them to the door window. And then I put a chair on the door handle, which I guess I didn't do it right because it fell. And just telling the kids for them to stay quiet. I wasn't gonna let nobody.
Excuse me?
I wasn't gonna let nobody hurt them.
Did the kids stay quiet?
Yes, but you could still hear them when they were like crying and stuff.
And where were the kids?
They were in that classroom. They were, as soon as we walk in, they were on the left side with the bookshelves around them.
And is that how they've been trained?
Yes.
And while you were in the room, did you hear anything else from the gunman?
I heard nothing but shots.
You continued hearing shots? Could you describe how many?
I just kept shooting and shooting.
And you could hear that where you were?
Oh, yes.
How long were you in the room?
That day for me was like fast forward, slow motion day for me. I don't know.
While you were in the room, what were you considering or thinking or planning? Did you do anything like that while you were in the room?
I was just like, I mean, what can I do if he doesn't come here, and I did grab some scissors that were there. I said, I can protect not only myself, but the kids if he does or comes in here or something.
Scissors are about all teachers or kids had in the room.
There was the teacher's scissors.
They were teachers'
Mhm.
scissors. And any other planning?
Would you?
Did you do any other thinking about what would happen?
That's about it. I mean,
Fair enough. How long were you in the room about?
it was a while. I don't remember because, like I said, it was a while.
And how did you leave the room?
I guess whoever was going by classroom in that area was knocking on the door, and which we got a knock, and I was trying to tell the second grade teacher not to open the door because at that time they didn't say who it was or anything like that. But she went ahead and opened the door, but it was law enforcement.
Okay. And what did law enforcement do?
They said that if we're okay and stuff, and they were there, but for us to wait, because they were still gonna go down the hallway, classrooms, and that they would be back for us to.
And did they come back for you?
Yes, they did.
How much later did they come back for you?
It didn't take them that long until they finished going down the classrooms down that hallway.
And when they came back, what happened?
When they came back, they said for them to hold their hands together and go behind each other and
Do
follow them.
what?
To go behind each other and hold hands and to follow them.
And did the kids do as they were told?
Yes.
And where did y'all go?
They took us down like 2-3 blocks down the street away from the school.
And then what happened?
And we just waited there
Until when?
until they brought buses or whatever vehicles they could get to pick us up.
And you were taken where?
We were taken to the Civic Center at that time.
Is that where the children were reunited with their family?
Right, yes.
And
Got a lot to say. I just don't want to interrupt her testimony right now.
as far as you're familiar with that grounds and those areas that you've just described for the jury,
Yes.
and have you been out with personnel from the DA's office to pinpoint the things you saw and where you were, where the
Yes.
gunman was, as well as where the officer was?
Yes.
And were photographs taken during that time?
I'm not sure.
You didn't take any photographs?
No, I don't think so.
May I approach that?
Yes, sir.
showing you exhibits 921 through 924. Do you recognize this area?
Yes.
And 922,
Yes.
and 923,
Mm-hmm.
and 924.
Yes.
Is that a fair and accurate representation, finally, at 924, where the cone's replaced by your direction? Is that correct?
Yes.
The state offers 921 through 924.
No objection, Your Honor.
They're admitted.
And David, be displayed.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Flores, these are going to be displayed and they're going to be shown back on that TV to your right, so that we don't stand in front of the jury and use that point in my opinion. Okay? Starting with State's Exhibit 921. Can you tell us when you got that first radio communication, where you would have been?
I would have been in that area over there. That's the classroom.
If you need to stand up to get close to it.
I was in this.
We need to see where she's pointing.
What classroom was that?
And you're talking about the second building from the bottom.
Yes.
So this one.
And was that's your classroom?
Yes.
And when you heard the communication, you didn't understand that communication, but you heard a second one?
Yes, I did.
And tell me about that one.
They just said he's.
Yes, JC.
Jumping over the fence. He's got a gun. He's shooting.
And where is the fence?
This is way over here.
Okay. So you get a communication and the gunman is jumping over the fence shooting. And where do you go?
I just started coming out, and I start running over here, this direction, because this is where some of the first grade students and teachers hang out. And I'm running, and I'm telling them to go back in, and that's when we're CashApp. And I just made it just so like.
Okay,
right
let
here.
me stop you for just a second. So you ran in the direction where you believe the gunman was jumping the fence?
I didn't really know what direction or who this person was until I saw him right here this morning.
Okay, so you didn't know where he was, all you had was information that somebody has jumped a fence and they're shooting.
Yes.
You didn't know where they were,
No,
but you acted.
you're right.
And you acted for what purpose?
To be safe.
Save who?
Everybody, the students, everybody.
And what, did you see students?
I saw what they were coming out of this building right here.
And how far out did they get?
I guess they got just about right there.
So they hadn't yet gotten to the green area.
Not these, not these.
And where are you? At this point, you see the kids?
Yes, I was like right here, telling them, yelling at them for them to get back. And that's when they heard gunshots, and that's when they went back. And I guess I just made it to right here while the gunman comes out right here.
Okay, about how many kids were outside?
Outside, out here. I don't remember.
Fair enough. And is there a recess area?
I guess the recess area is over here in the pavilion pew area. And I guess it's in this area. Some recess.
So there's several recess areas?
Not several, but there's many, they say that there's too many in the playground area. Some just stay on this area right here.
Okay. And so you don't see the gunman when you see the children,
No, I don't. I just hear the shots.
but when the children get in, you have an intention?
Yeah, that's when he's right here, comes out right here.
This is where she was.
And you're talking about at the
This is
southwest corner?
Adrian's car, so she
Yes.
fell over here.
And when you see
And
him, you also saw the gun?
The gunman
Yes.
So you didn't stay long?
is over here.
I know.
What did you do when you saw the gun?
I stopped there, so like I said, I saw him right here, and I just ran this direction right here.
And show me again, a little more slowly, the direction. Okay. And then at the bottom of that photograph, there is just a small white corner. Can you see that? Is there another building there?
Was it this one right here?
Yes. That's the last building on the campus as far as south, is that correct?
Right.
Okay. But that's the direction in general that you were running?
Yes.
So this way.
And when you turned to run then, I suppose you weren't watching the gunman?
Not until I said, well, let me see if he's running behind me, you know, and that's when I looked back to see if he was still there or not. But he was still right here.
Okay. And where did you fall?
I felt somewhere around this area right here.
And can you describe what vehicle that is that's on the photograph?
That's one of the,
Excuse me?
that's a PD vehicle.
Is that the place that the PD vehicle parked?
It was a different one.
Excuse me?
It was a different vehicle.
You think it was different? How was it different?
Because it didn't have, I guess, the logos on there. It was just a plain white four-door car.
So you don't remember any logos
No.
from that? You believe it was a different vehicle? Was there more than one vehicle that arrived, police vehicle that arrived while you were there?
That was the only one.
Okay.
The one I saw. 'Cause
And,
that's when I ran into this area right here.
Okay,
Went
but
into the
before you
cash-
ran in, did you have a conversation? Did you talk to the officer?
I didn't talk to anybody. I was just telling them,
What were you telling him?
like, we need to go in. He needs to be stopped.
She keeps saying we. Like she's
Where
willing
was
to
he?
too.
He
She's
was-
saying
like I
we
said,
need to
there-
go
there
in.
was
He
a-
says
other
fuck
vehicle
them
was here, and he
kids,
was
pretty
just,
much.
I don't know exactly what he was doing, but he was just like running back and forth.
Pacing back and forth?
Yes.
As you were telling him to go in,
Yeah.
and you pointed to where he was?
Yes.
And then where did you go?
Like I said, I believe this is a second grade building, and I went into one of these second grade classrooms.
Thank you. You can sit back down. Showing you State's Exhibit 922. Can you tell us what we're looking at here?
I believe it was that vehicle.
Excuse me?
I believe it was that vehicle that I saw when.
Okay, so now we see two vehicles, and you believe it was that one?
Yes.
And on the first vehicle, is there markings that you can see there?
No.
Oh,
Would
this
you
one.
approach it?
Oh yeah, the Crown Vic.
Would
His
you-
is the Crown
Would you
Vic.
Get closer to it, you can see if you can say what's on the side.
On what side are you right?
I'm sorry, ma'am, approach it.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Flores, I'm just asking you, does this say police?
Yes, it does.
And Uvalde CISD? Thank you.
Police, Uvalde CISD.
In State's Exhibit 923, is this the time that you went out to show us where you were?
Yes.
And would you point out how far down you got as you were helping the kids?
So just by where the cone's at. This area right here.
Holy
And
fuck.
is there a second cone there?
She was
Yes.
that close
What is
getting
that?
those kids
That's
back.
kind of where
This is the
women-
fucking
Okay.
south entrance. Those are the
In
fucking
State's Exhibit 924?
AC units. Holy fuck.
Do you see that first cone still at where you were when you were telling the
Mhm.
kids? And did you show us the direction of the path that you ran?
All the
I
way
believe it
here.
was somewhere right in here, this area.
So from
Wow.
the farthest cone, you ran to the second cone. Would you point out which cone?
Somewhere right here.
And then the third cone?
I fell in somewhere in this area. That's
Is
where I
that
ended
where
up
you
on the
fell?
ground. That's where I kind of ended at on the ground.
And where was the police car?
Still somewhere right over here.
And does that fourth cone indicate where the officer was?
Talking about this one right here?
Yes.
Yes, still.
Thank you. Ms. Forrest, when this happened to you, did you talk to your family?
At that time when I was in the classroom, I did. I called one of my brothers
And why did you call your brother?
to let him know what was going on.
And did you find out what was going on?
Yes, there was a
And
shooting going on.
Excuse me?
There was a shooting going on. There's a shooter on the campus.
And did your brother have any advice for you?
I told him what was going on and what happened. He just said for me to hide and to check myself if I was shot or not.
Did you eventually go to the police with this information?
To the police.
Did you give a statement to the police about what you just told the jury?
I know, because I left out of town, and when I had told him that I wanted to come back when the funeral services started. So I did. I came the day before, and then I had a report to the Fairplex.
To who?
I had a report to the Fairplex, but I didn't make any reports to that's the PD as you're talking about.
Uh-huh. Did you eventually give a statement to police officers?
It was when I got there at the Fairplex. It was Texas Ranger.
Oh, a Texas Ranger, okay. Thank you. And how is it that you got with the Texas Ranger?
Because I went in there and I had some people there. I don't know, they were like counselors and stuff like that, and that's when they told me that Texas Rangers need to speak to one of them or something. I really don't know exactly how it all started there. I eventually ended up talking to a Texas Ranger.
But you just remember talking to him?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Pass the witness.
May I proceed, Judge?
Please.
Good morning, Ms. Flores.
Good morning.
My name is Nico LaHood.
I
I'm one of
swear
the lawyers
to
that
God,
represents
Nico, you slimy rat
I'm assuming you've
bastard.
never testified before?
No,
It's
never.
okay. You a little nervous?
Yeah.
And it's emotional. So there's no gotchas here. I'm gonna ask you some questions.
Okay.
And I may ask you questions about what you perceived or what you remembered.
Mhm.
And it's not that I'm questioning your character, but we're gonna be, I may be questioning your perception or your memory, okay?
Okay.
But just don't take that as a personal attack.
Okay.
It's gonna be just observational questions, okay? If you don't understand my questions, you ask me to repeat them and I will.
Okay.
And if we need to go slow, we need to stop, I'll do that, okay? And for the court reporter, you have to say yes, or you have to say a word because she's typing it down.
Okay.
Okay. So you were, it seems like for Robb Elementary and for Beeville currently, you are a special education aide.
Yes.
I'm gonna take a side note here. I'm a daddy of a special needs son, so I appreciate what you and all professionals like you do.
Thank you.
There's no doubt in my mind you're a special type of woman. You've been doing that for 23 years, 25 years?
Yes, sir.
That is a unique type of teacher, so my wife and I thank you, okay?
Thank you.
Because you talked, and I knew that because I'm sure you're involved in ARD meetings, right? Those assessments
At
for
one
what?
point I was, but
Okay, and that's part of your duties,
Yeah.
dealing with special
Yeah.
needs kids. But you described outbursts, and you have to deal with outbursts, and
Yes.
as a daddy of a son on the spectrum, it's a meltdown. They have a sensory overload, and
Right.
it can be intense.
yes.
And so it takes a lot of patience, and thank you for that. So I want to direct your attention to May 24th, 2022. We're going to get into this. And you testified that everything started the way it normally does for you, and you went
Yes.
through the procedures with the government. At some point, you were eating lunch, and you described where that was, and you heard on the radio something, but you didn't understand what it was.
At first, right, correct.
And then it came in again, and it's a shooter jumped a fence, has a gun, something of that nature.
Yes,
And you responded, right? You left the building and you wanted to make sure
Yeah,
that
more
the
than your
kids
punk ass
were
client,
not
dude.
outside.
That's for goddamn sure.
Because the initial report, and you had not seen anything, was that there was someone that jumped that fence, and you know where that perimeter fence is.
yes,
And you didn't know what direction they were going, but you were just rather be safe than sorry, and you went outside.
yes, that's correct.
So you get outside, and your instincts were correct. There were some children that were trying to come out of that south end of the fourth grade building.
Yes,
Now, you had already seen, because you could see the playground, there were no kids in the playground, thankfully.
right,
Right, so there were no kids on the playground. You were focused, when you got out there, you were focused on those children
Yes.
coming out of the building.
Mhm.
And can I have state's government's exhibit, was it 920, 922? I'm gonna walk beside you, okay, Ms.
Oh.
Flores? Thank you. And so you come out here, you can scan this area and you can see that thankfully there's no kids out here.
right,
Right? And so you turn and you see children coming out of here and you tell them to get back.
yes,
Okay. And so, and that's your focus, and you don't see any children over here, correct?
correct,
Right. Or over here?
right,
Okay, just at that building. And they were confused, but they listened to you and they went back.
right.
I don't recall, at that time, had you yourself heard any gunfire?
As I was telling the kids to go back in, like I said, that's when we heard, and that's when they kind of like started running back in to the
Right.
front. Yes,
But at that time, you hadn't heard gunfire yet. You told them to go in.
Right.
Right. So there were no shots while the children were exiting, thankfully,
Right.
you got them in
Yes.
before. But then I think you testified, I want to make sure I get it right, so please correct me if I
Okay.
don't. Well, before I get to what actually happened in your experience there, the government asked you about lockdowns. The jury's heard a lot about lockdowns, but one of the things you said is a major part of the lockdown is you have to make sure the doors are locked. You remember
yes,
saying that?
yes.
Why is that so important in a lockdown?
Just make sure nobody's gonna go in.
And so those doors are really the only barrier between anyone with bad intentions and the teacher and the children inside, right? And so we've heard about the procedures of turning the lights off and hiding and getting away from windows and turning off your phones. But the main barrier of protection are those doors, right?
Right,
And you would agree that there was a policy that all doors at the school needed to be locked
yes,
at all times.
right,
And I won't belabor this with you, the jury's heard about teachers having keys and other teachers using magnets and that magnet system or whatever. But the school policy was for the external doors to be locked and the internal doors to be locked, correct?
correct.
And something caught my attention when you mentioned lockdowns. I think that Mr. Turner asked you, what is the purpose of lockdowns? What is it to protect you from? And your two things you said were high-speed chases and bailouts, right?
Yes,
Because that's, in that community, that's, you correlate lockdowns to high-speed chases and bailouts, right?
yes,
Because thankfully, there had never been a school shooting before, right?
right,
And so lockdowns in the community's mind was for that because there was a lot of bailouts at that time, right?
yes, there was, yes,
I mean, a lot, right?
yes,
And so now I want to direct your attention about your engagement here, or what you testified about the shooter. Can you put your back up, please? Start with that, thank you. So you testified that I think you pointed it out on one of the other ones, and we'll get there. The shooter was somewhere out here. When he shot at you, you can stand
No,
up here,
he
you
was-
too.
He comes out right here to this point, right here.
Is it fair to say, and I want to put words in your mouth, are you saying that he kind of stood on this sidewalk here?
Yes.
Okay. And these shots towards you, are these the first shots that you had heard?
Towards me?
Well, just in general, because you hadn't seen shots before. Thankfully, when the kids weren't there, the kids go back inside. I guess you're coming back here, you're saying to the jury that you see the shooter come out to here,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's when he starts shooting at you.
Right.
And where were you when he started shooting at you, that you recall, if you can recall?
I was just running.
Like, do you remember if you were kind of near the, I mean,
I
obviously
was-
this vehicle wasn't there yet, but you were somewhere here maybe?
Yes, just
Okay.
just about, yes.
And do you recall how many times he was shooting at you? Because I think you said more than one time he just kept shooting and shooting.
I want to say maybe 3 or 6.
So
I
three to
don't
six.
recall exactly, but
Okay.
there were.
Okay. And then you fall down, correct, at some
Right.
point? Because you look back. And then, but then the shooter doesn't shoot you when you fall down.
No,
Okay.
that's when he started running.
Yes, ma'am. He started running?
Mhm.
Okay. You know now that the shooter shot up this whole side of the school before he
Yes,
entered, right?
yes.
Are you aware, and I'm just asking you, are you aware that there are no spent casings? You know what a spent casing is?
After you finish.
Yes, ma'am. After you shoot and the projectile
Mhm.
goes out,
Mhm.
a semi-automatic weapon will get the
Mhm.
dispel that casing. Are you aware now that there were no casings found over here?
I didn't know that.
Okay. Are you aware, and if you're not, you're not, are you aware that there's no evidence of shooting, they call them defects, that they're shooting in that direction? Are you aware that there are no?
No.
Bullshit.
It's a misstatement of the law, of the facts. There's a defect in building 24. We put on a number of pictures of it.
Yeah, at the lower level, Judge, and I recognize that one up top.
Okay, once again, ladies and gentlemen, if it conflicts with your memory of the evidence, rely on your own. You may proceed.
And look, I'm not ragging on you, I'm not, because there's a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot, there are multiple people,
Yeah, you
even
are.
police officers up here that thought
Yeah,
they were
you
getting
fucking
shot at. I'm
are.
just saying, I was just asking, are you aware that there are no shells? That's all, and you're not aware of that.
Right.
So now, I want to make sure the timing's right. Because I wasn't sure, because the way you testified, it made it sound like that this happened like right behind each other. So the shooter is here shooting at you, you fall, he doesn't keep shooting, he runs over here, and then the police officer drives up here.
Correct.
That kind of happens simultaneously?
Yes.
And the shooter did not try to shoot at the police officer?
No, because I guess he just kept running.
Okay, he kept
towards
running.
Yeah.
And so then that's when this officer parked right there. And you were on the ground still, or had you gotten up at the time?
That was not the vehicle, though.
If I had to represent to you, and the government won't contest me, that is the vehicle, but that, again, that's just your perception. In your mind, you perceived it, that there were no markings on that vehicle, correct?
Right.
We'll stipulate to that, Your Honor.
Thank you, Bill. And so stipulate means they agree. And let me tell you something. You went through a hellacious experience. There is something called perception distortion. Have you heard about that?
No.
Okay. Where stress. Have you heard of
Yeah.
PTSD?
Yes.
Post-traumatic stress? That has a very serious and real effect on people. And that's why we're asking you these questions. This is not an attack on your character. Do you
Yes,
understand
the
that?
fuck
I
it
promise you
is.
that. So this is the vehicle that was there, but at the time you thought that it didn't have any logos and you were sure of it, right? Even to right now, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Do you want to take a moment?
No.
Okay.
Good.
Excuse me, I'm gonna pass you up. And so may I have permission to ask you about some of your other perceptions?
Okay.
Okay. You initially described the officer as wearing khaki pants, correct?
Yes.
a white shirt.
I believe it was white, like a bluish.
Well, no, you said white. Remember, you've spoken to a Texas
Right,
Ranger?
yes, it was,
Right.
yes, I did say, yes.
Okay. You spoke to, well, this, for clarity, you've spoken to a Texas Ranger and you spoke to Mr. Rick Garza with the DA's office here, right? This gentleman
Yes,
behind,
yes.
to my right? Okay. And so you described that officer in that vehicle as having khaki pants, correct?
Yes,
A white shirt, correct?
yes,
Short sleeve white shirt,
yes.
right? And a full beard.
It wasn't a full, no.
But that's what you had spoken.
But that's, okay, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
You had said that to Mr. Garza and then Ranger Pettis previously, correct?
Right,
Okay. And so if I represent to you that Mr. Gonzales had a dark uniform on, no white shirt, no shirt sleeves, and no khaki pants, and did not have a beard, that's kind of an example of your perception, right?
Right.
In your mind, that's what you saw, right?
yes,
Okay. And so the officer gets out, and at the time you didn't know it was Mr. Gonzales, right? You didn't know it was Adrian.
no, I didn't, no.
But that officer, I believe the government asked you, you testified that he just was kind of pacing back and forth?
Yes, he was.
And that's your perception of what he was doing? Is it fair to say that, I mean, I can see it's emotional now, but at the time, because this was real time, that you were frantic?
She's
You
being
were
shot
truly
at.
excited at the time.
Excited as,
This was traumatic experience.
yeah,
Right? I mean,
Yes.
so you're running out, you get this call, your instincts were correct because you know the school. You have an absolute love for children. I know that, it's obvious to me. And so you go out there to warn children to go back in.
Yes.
You're yelling at them, because I think you're yelling at them to get inside. And then you see this shooter, whether he shot at you or not, I believe you saw him.
mm-hmm,
And then you fall because you're running, because at the very least, you perceive that he's shooting at you. And then you fall, so you think, I believe you told investigators, he got me now, he's gonna get me, right?
right,
Matter of fact, you initially told them that you thought he shot you,
yes,
but he had not shot you, thankfully.
right,
Okay. But you thought he did.
yes,
And so, that's all I'm trying to set this tone. There's a lot going on in your mind at that time, right?
yes,
Okay. And so you perceived Mr. Gonzales as, you didn't know it was him at the time, as pacing, right?
right,
But he was getting out, he's assessing you because you're yelling things at him, right?
yes,
You're saying he's over there, correct?
mm-hmm,
You're with Adrian for somewhere between 2 to 7 minutes, right?
right,
But that, you've said that to Mr. Garza before, right? You said that you were with Adrian and you gave yourself a range. You were with him in that scene for anywhere as low as 2
I
minutes?
didn't recognize the PD that was there,
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. What
I
did you
did
think?
not, I didn't know, I didn't recognize the PD officer that was there, that was telling that to,
When I mean Adrian, I'm talking about the PD officer.
okay,
Let me represent to you that Adrian Gonzales sitting to our left.
I feel like this
is
would
the
be really
officer
bad
that drove that vehicle with the logos on it, okay?
had
He's the officer
Adrian's
that drove the vehicle.
testimony
So
not
if I say
corroborated
Adrian, I'm sorry, I
everything
mean
that
Mr.
she has
Gonzales,
fucking
the
said,
PD.
aside from the
Okay.
color of clothing that
So
he was
you're
wearing.
yelling at him instructions, but he's getting out. At some point, there are gunfire, right? At some point, there's
Yes.
gunfire. Do you recall the PD officer? I'll just say PD officer. Do you recall the PD officer radio in and saying shots fired, shots fired?
I don't recall it,
Okay, but if that's on dispatch, that dispatch will be the best evidence for that. Do you recall
Sure.
at some point after getting instruction from you and you're yelling at him and he's ducking, do you remember him moving around the vehicle to get behind it for cover? You didn't know it was cover, but do you remember him getting behind the vehicle?
I know I would see him, see that PD, pacing back and forth,
Yes, ma'am. So you're pacing back and forth. Could that be that he was going behind the vehicle to get behind it for cover?
I'm sure.
Okay. Do you recall hearing him say, west side of the building, supposed to be wearing black?
No, I don't.
But when you're talking and yelling at the PD officer, you're pointing to the south side of the building.
Correct.
And look, and it makes sense, Ms. Flores, because those children were coming out of the south side of the building. You have tunnel vision on the south side of the building, right?
Yes.
And so you're focused on that south side of the building, and you're yelling at him, he's going in, but you're thinking south side of the building,
Yes.
right? You thought it so much, understandably, that you were under the impression that the shooter went in the south side of the building. Do you remember that?
No, he went around.
I know that, but at one point,
Right, at what, yes,
you thought he went in, remember?
yes.
Do you remember Ranger Pettis had to correct you because you kept asking, and he said, I can tell you for sure he did not go in the south side of the building, and you said, I thought he did.
Okay,
You
yes.
remember that from
Yes.
your 2 interviews? Okay. And just to give a little bit of context, I believe Mr. Turner was asking you this at the end. You didn't speak to police right away, right?
Right,
The first time you spoke to anybody was on May 31st,
that is correct.
and this incident happened on May 24th.
Right, because like I said, I left out of town with my family.
Yes, ma'am, understandably. But by that time, you had seen the news for 6 days, 7 days, right?
Yes, some of it, yes.
And you were honest. You told them about that in one of your interviews. That said, I viewed videos, and so you had been watching the news
Yes.
that time, and then you're this traumatic experience, and you're putting your memory together. So all that's going on when you're talking to them. Those 2 interviews, right?
Right,
Okay, understandable. So you're with this officer anywhere between 2 to 7 minutes, correct?
if that's the correct time, yes.
Well, that's what
The
you said
minutes.
to them. Do you remember
Okay.
saying that?
Okay, yes, yes.
Okay. And so there's a lot going on, right?
Yes,
Because at some point, there's multiple shots, right? And I have permission to walk up to you, the judge has given us that. You now know, and you knew then, that this person shot up all the way until he got into
I
the
can hear
west.
the
I'm gonna object to that,
gunshots.
Your Honor, that's not the facts.
Okay, once again, ladies and gentlemen, if it differs with your recollection, rely on your own, you may proceed.
Do you know that the shooter multiple times at the building? I don't know what the government's comfortable
I have
with,
no
but,
objection to multiple times the building, but he pointed all the way up the building. That's what I object to. That's not what.
well, the evidence will show what it shows, Judge.
Okay, overruled. You heard my admonishment, ladies and gentlemen. Let's proceed.
Thank you, Judge. So there were multiple shots at this building all the way up until this monster got into the building, right?
yes.
You know that now.
Yes,
But when you were telling to the ranger, Pettis, and to Mr. Garza, you in your mind, you really thought that he had entered here.
yes, it's,
And so you're yelling at the officer, and you're telling him, you're saying he's on this side of the building, and you're pointing here because you really thought it was on the south side of the building. And so there's this dialogue back and forth between you and the officer for those 2 to 7 minutes, right?
yes,
Because there's a yelling, it's frantic. I mean, understandably, you thought you had been shot. You thought you were being shot at. You're yelling at him. You knew that you got children back in the building, but you thought he followed those kids in the building, right?
right.
At some point.
Yes, yes,
And then you explain that he's on the west side of the building, and you say he's on. So there's it's definitely not intentional, but there's kind of this south side, west side discussion going on between you and the officer, right? At some point in this
yes.
engagement. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, but I really wasn't like really listening. I was just,
I know. Have you heard of something called auditory exclusion, where stress makes, you get tunnel vision visually, but then you can also you can exclude things auditorily because there's just so much stress going on. Right. And so there's just a lot going on, a lot of perception, you're communicating with the officer, and because you're really in your heart of hearts, and I don't think anybody doesn't believe you, and these children were in danger, but you had a specific perception of what entrance this man went in, right? Okay. And the officer is talking with you, he's communicating with you, and he's focused on you too, because did you tell him you thought you were shot?
I didn't tell him.
Okay.
No.
But you're on the ground,
Right,
And when you hit the ground, and I mean hit the ground meaning when you fell, do you agree that it created kind of like a dust?
Yes.
Because it's all dirt right there, right?
Right.
And so, and he drives up to you. That's where his car is. He drove all the way up to you, right?
Yes.
So even though there was if you don't know, maybe you know now, that there was a call of a person at the school with a gun, he didn't, obviously that vehicle is not parked on the corner. This officer in this vehicle drove into the trouble, right? He drove in, he acted, he drove to you. They didn't know it was you, but I mean, he drove to
Right.
your area, right? Are you aware now there were 3 other officers over here?
I didn't. I couldn't see.
And do you know now?
Okay. Yes.
But this officer isn't these officers, right? They stopped over
Right.
here. This officer made it over here, right?
Right.
At some point, after that 3 to 7 minutes, you described to the jury and the government asked you, you go to that classroom, Mr. Niño, and you see that officer move up. He moves up at some point, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that? Kitty moves?
I'm not sure because, like I said, I was in the classroom doing what I that needed to be done.
And while you're talking to this officer, because there's that 2 to 7 minutes, there's actually shots being fired. You guys both can hear shots.
Right.
So he's hearing shots. You're talking to him. You're giving him instruction. I'm not going to put words in your mouth. You said he's pacing, but let me suggest he was taking cover, but he's talking to you. And shots are being fired throughout this whole time.
The mischaracterization of her testimony.
She can correct me.
She said that he was pacing, not that he was taking cover.
Okay, once again, ladies and gentlemen, if it differs with your recollection, rely on your own.
Goddamn, Judge, can you tell him to
overruled
just quit
No,
making
no.
up shit?
I said that you said he was pacing. Do you remember me saying that?
Yes.
Okay. So and if I say something, you want to correct me, you can say, Nico, stop. I'm going to correct you. You can do that, okay?
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to direct your attention to State's Exhibit 922. Oh, there it is right there. So you see that second car?
Yes.
Do you recall telling Ranger Pettis and Mr. Garza that at some point when you went to the other classroom, Mr. Trevino, and you didn't say it exactly like that you saw this officer, whoever he was, move forward? Move forward. Do you remember saying that?
I don't remember saying that.
Okay, at some point when the jury's out, I can have you listen to your statement, okay? It's the audio, right?
Okay.
We'll stipulate to that, Your Honor.
Excuse me?
We'll stipulate. to
Okay,
that.
thank you, Bill. So the government has stipulated that at some point when you go to Mr. Trevino, you say to them, to the ranger and to Mr. Garza, that you saw the officer move forward, okay?
Okay.
Okay. And when the government showed you, when Mr. Turner showed you this picture, you said, no, that's the vehicle that you thought was here, right?
Right.
Because this one doesn't have any emblems,
Right.
right? So at some point, this officer moves forward to this officer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay. And you might not have known it was an officer at the time, but are you aware now that you described this officer, Officer Page? He was wearing khaki pants
Really?
and a white shirt, a whiter shirt. He didn't have a beard though. So all I'm saying is there's a lot going on in your mind, right?
Yes.
Okay. So at some point, after 2 to 5 minutes, there's gunfire, you're on the ground, you're yelling at this officer, he's going in here, the kid's in here, save the kids. At some point, and we can see, you can't see anything. You can't see the west side of the building from here, right?
Right.
And neither could the officer.
Right.
And so, this fence here around the AC unit?
Mm-hmm.
It's a chain link fence, right?
Right.
So you can see through it.
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell that part of this SUV is behind that chain link fence?
Yes.
Can you see it? It's
Yes.
behind there? But you can still see it, right?
Right.
So if an individual was standing there, you could still see an individual standing there, right? So if the shooter was standing there, you would be able to see the shooter from where you were at.
Right.
Right. I understand you perceived him to be out here, but if he was standing there, you could still see the shooter?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
100%.
want to talk about
The
another one of your
prosecution
perceptions.
dropped
And I
the
think-
ball
I think
with
Mr. Turner
witness
tried to clear it
prep.
up. At some point, you told Ranger Pettis and Mr. Garza that you believed the gunman had a handgun.
At some point, yes.
And then you when you told him that, you were sure about it. You were sure that it was a handgun, right?
Right.
And then either the Ranger or Mr. Garza, I can't tell on the audio, corrected you and said it was a long rifle. It was not a handgun.
Right.
Right. And you correlated the handgun to a handgun that you carry sometimes, and so that's in your mind. That's
Right.
what you correlated that to. And so,
Still hoping that
I
the
wanna say one
jury
thing about-
realizes
you told the
that
government ultimately this jury
yes,
that
her
when this officer
testimony
showed up,
matches
He gave instructions
Adrian's
that he didn't
with,
say anything
and
back to you.
matches the first teacher that
No.
was the
oh, he
witness.
did say something back to
All
you?
three of
No, he
those
didn't.
match
No.
up
Do you
correctly.
remember telling them that he said which building, and that's
Okay,
what-
yes.
Yeah.
No, yes. He did say, that officer did say, where's the fourth grade building?
Right. So this officer didn't even know where the fourth grade building was, right?
Right.
Right. Well, at least that's how you perceived it. That's what he said. Because Robb Elementary, unfortunately, did not have a full-time officer there.
No, not that I know of.
Right. But he kept asking you which building. You said fourth grade building. Which building is that?
Right.
And then that's when the discussion about south entrance versus west entrance
Yes.
happened, right? And so all that is within that 2 to 7 minutes.
Yes.
Okay. Ms. Flores, thank you so much, and I want you to know that all my questions had nothing to do with your character.
Shut
You
the
have an
fuck up,
outstanding character.
fucking
Okay?
slimy rat
Thank you,
bastard.
Dr. Williams.
Regret?
Yes, ma'am, and when you said the fourth grade building, the officer said which building?
Yes, he said, where's
Is that when
where's
you
the fourth
started
grade?
pointing?
Yes,
And where did you point?
to the fourth grade building.
And was the officer standing looking at you as you pointed to the fourth grade building?
At the, yes,
Y'all were having a discussion, he wanted to know where it was and you pointed it out,
yes,
but he stayed there.
yes.
I want to ask you about that short trip that you had down the walkway toward that south door, toward this door.
Mhm.
And show us about how far you got down toward that south door
Just about right, somewhere right here.
and where did you see the gunman?
He's standing right here.
Okay. Is there a little culvert just right here, a few steps behind that?
Yes, so it's part of the sidewalk
Okay.
going to the parking lot, fourth grade parking lot.
A culvert where a casing was located?
I'm not sure.
Okay. But the kids go inside the door,
Yes, back in there.
you're focused on them.
Yes.
When you see the man, how's he dressed?
He has the black jeans, the black hoodie, and the hoodie fell down from.
And black's a dark color.
Mhm.
And so if something black is in front of black, it would be a little bit more difficult to articulate what it was.
Yes.
And when you saw the man with what you perceived as a gun, whether handgun or rifle, you turned and ran.
Right.
And when you turned, that means you turned away from him.
Yes.
So you didn't see where he went.
When I was coming somewhere right here, that's when I looked back and he was still in this area here.
Okay. So he was kind of in this same area here.
Yes,
And is that why you thought he was going to the south door?
right,
Okay. The police car is white, correct?
yes,
You saw it.
yes.
Was the gunman the position that he was facing? Was he in a position to see this white car
I
drive
believe
up?
that's when he like starts running this direction.
Sure. When he sees the white car, then you say, you believe that's when he went that direction?
Yes.
Is that just your common sense, or did you see that?
That's what I saw.
Okay.
Prosecution's fucking this up even more. Prosecution just fucked it up even fucking more.
And as far as auditory, auditory exclusion, I believe Mr. LaHood said that an officer got on dispatch and said, shots fired, shots fired. Do you recall him asking you about that?
You talking about?
Mr.
Yes,
LaHood asked
yes.
you about that? And to get on a microphone and say shots fired, indicates either that he heard shots fired or you told him shots were fired. Is that correct?
We could hear shots fired.
Oh, you could hear shots fired?
Yes.
You weren't going through auditory exclusion?
That meaning, like,
I'm sorry.
I mean, at that time, I mean, you can hear the shots. And I don't know, I don't recall him
Okay.
or the
So you
PD.
clearly could hear the shots,
Yes.
and you didn't get on the police radio to say shots fired, shots
Mm.
fired?
No.
Okay. But whoever did was in a position to either hear the shots or you told him shots were being fired.
Right.
Did you tell him that shots were being fired?
Well, you can hear him. I,
Didn't have to.
no.
Okay. That's what.
I hope you keep teaching special eds kids. I really
Thank
do.
you.
God bless you. No question, Judge.
Okay, recall either side.
Prosecution knows they got that one.
I don't want to belabor it, but we might have some follow-up with this, but.
Okay, so you want to recall.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
They should
All right,
leave. They should go leave town and come back.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay, ma'am, the rule's been invoked in this case, and all that means is, since you're subject to recall, you need to stay in touch with the DA's office in the event of a recall. We'll give you as much notice as possible, but more importantly, don't talk to anybody about the case other than the lawyers until you're aware the case is over with.
Okay.
All right? So thank you, you're excused today.
Thank you.
You'll call your next witness, please.
Sherry Hotmeyer, if I said that right.
This is the second witness. Real quick, I just want to point out real quick while everything's getting situated. This teacher heard that there was a gunman, ran outside, ushered kids into a class, checked on another class, was telling Adrian, we need to get in there, we need to get in there, like emphasizing the we. And Adrian did absolutely jack shit. She went above and beyond. Adrian couldn't even meet the bar.
You want to come up, ma'am? Raise your right hand, please. You do solemnly swear the evidence in the testimony given in this cause will be the truth, self you got.
Okay.
You're gonna have a seat right over here. Adjust that microphone, make it comfortable. Speak up so everybody can hear you, please. You may proceed.
Good morning.
Morning.
Would you tell the jury who you are?
Hi, my name is Dr. Sherry Hotmeyer. I'm from Uvalde.
And Dr. Hotmeyer, where do you work in Uvalde?
Currently, I work at Uvalde Medical Surgical Associates, which is an outpatient clinic that's adjoined to the hospital.
And when you say adjoined to the hospital, does that just mean you have a business relationship, or is it also physically adjoined to the hospital?
The building is right next to the main hospital. It's also owned by the hospital.
And tell us what your credentials are.
I'm a doctor of osteopathic medicine, which is essentially, there's allopathic and osteopathic. We do the, same training, but we do a little bit more in musculoskeletal.
In what?
Musculoskeletal.
Muscular and skeletal?
Mhm.
Okay. And when did you get your education?
I completed medical school in 2011, from 2007 to 2011.
And after medical school, what did you do?
Then I went to residency at Christus Santa Rosa in San Antonio, family medicine residency program.
How long is that residency program?
That was an additional 3 years.
And after the residency, then what?
And then I graduated in 2014, and I moved out to Uvalde and began working, and I've been there ever since.
Ever since 2014?
2014, yep.
And so, May 24th, 2022, what were you doing on that day?
I was working at the time I was working at a different clinic, which was right down the road from the hospital, and we had just finished morning clinic, and we were in a meeting.
A meeting with other doctors?
Yes, with the staff at the clinic.
A business meeting?
Business meeting.
And about what time was this?
Started around 11:15.
Okay. And did you end up going to the hospital that day?
Yes, I did.
How did you end up at the hospital?
We had an alert that sent a mass text message to all the physicians saying that they needed us immediately in the emergency room.
When you say all physicians, I don't understand what the mass texting is. How did that work?
It was sent out by, I can't tell you I know the exact texting service or anything like that, but it's a messaging service that sends a text message to physicians, and basically was just asking them all to come immediately to the emergency room. That there was a trauma,
A need there?
an immediate need.
Okay.
Mhm.
So you weren't actually in the hospital, but a text went out to all physicians to come.
Yes.
And did you go?
Yes.
And did other physicians go?
Yes.
And on that afternoon, then tell us how you spent your time.
I got there. I can't tell you exactly the time I got there, but I got there as soon as I could, and it was probably right around noon. And when I got there, I'm sorry, I don't quote me on that. I apologize. I don't know what time I got there. I got there as soon as I could. But when I got there, there were other doctors that were already treating patients, and I circled around in the emergency room and tried to help in any way that I could.
And so this is the emergency room where you see doctors treating patients?
Yes.
About how many doctors did you see working?
There were probably about 8 to 10 of us.
And patients?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us about how many patients you saw?
There were about 15, I believe.
Okay. And did you treat any of the patients?
I did. I treated. I helped and assisted in some of the ones that were already ongoing and needed just like a little bit of help here and there. And then when those ones were stabilized, I went to a different area where children were waiting that were not as critical but still needed medical care.
So there is an order in which you treat patients when they come in?
Yes.
And describe that for us.
Call it triage, and basically those patients that are the most critical get the most immediate care. The ones that need to be stabilized, it's all hands on deck, and we do everything we can to get that patient better. The ones that are less acute, those ones typically will then be next in line, and then the ones that are least acute will then be seen after the other ones.
And is that the way the procedure went that afternoon?
Yes.
Okay. Now, you said that you actually did treat some of the children yourself,
Mm-hmm.
but other doctors treated children too.
Yes.
And let me ask you then, are you familiar with the records?
Yes,
Of the
I-
Uvalde Hospital?
Yes, sir.
And is it common for doctors to review the records of other doctors?
If asked, we will do that.
I mean, you can read a medical record whether you created it or a fellow doctor did.
Yes, correct, absolutely.
And I believe at the defense's agreement, they've agreed to allow you, rather than having eight or nine doctors come in, to testify to the records. Is
Yes,
that correct?
that's correct. This witness can testify to all the injuries to the kids and all the treatment that was done by all the doctors.
Okay, you can proceed.
And so have you done the time, you've spent the time to look at the records of those children that were treated at Uvalde Medical Hospital that day?
Yes, sir. And
And are you familiar enough, and have you summarized it so that you can tell us the name of the child as well as any injuries they sustained and the nature of that?
Yes, sir.
And you have summarized that for us?
Yes, I have them here, if you don't mind me using my notes.
And we may not be in the same order, so it may take
Okay.
a second for you to find it.
Okay.
But if we could start with Exhibit 910. Mia Cerrillo. Could you tell us what injuries Mia Cerrillo sustained?
From the summary on the medical record, she had pretty significant shrapnel injuries to.
And what is shrapnel injury?
Shrapnel is basically little parts of, or fragments of bullets. that
Fragments of bullets?
Fragments of bullets that get embedded in the skin or other locations.
And was there a location in which she had the shrapnel?
Yes, sir. She had fairly significant shrapnel to her thorax, which is basically the back and the chest area, in the left flank, and then on her left shoulder.
And when you see shrapnel in somebody, do you remove that shrapnel?
If it's superficial enough, then yes. Otherwise, it can work its way out. Sometimes it, may need to be surgically removed if it's symptomatic, if it's causing pain or causing nerve impingement. Or
So with all of these shrapnel wounds, the issue is if it's superficial, it can be removed.
yes.
And if it's deeper, why would you not remove it?
Just have to weigh if it's doing more harm than good, then you would definitely want to remove it. I mean,
Shrapnel.
sorry, not good. It's not going to do good. Excuse me. If it's not causing symptoms, then it's something that could potentially be left in.
Because going in could cause harm too.
Yes, absolutely. It could cause pinching of nerves. It could cause pain, pain with movement.
And the nature, because it was shrapnel, do you have an opinion as to whether or not this was a gunshot wound?
I think it's definitely a gunshot wound.
Thank you.
This patient was treated by a different physician.
Thank you. 905. Could you tell us what injuries they
AJ Martinez, he had a gunshot wound to his right thigh with significant shrapnel to the right thigh, as well as some shrapnel injuries to the left side of his head and his face.
And what is the right femur?
The femur is the long, big bone on the top part of the leg, right here.
And so was this shrapnel penetrating shrapnel or superficial?
Was the shrapnel?
Did it penetrate or was it only superficial?
It was close to the femur. and it had multiple shrapnel injuries in the subcutaneous, which is basically the layer below the skin, and in the deep soft tissue, which is
Deep soft tissue.
mhm.
Thank you. Exhibit 906.
What they're trying to do right now is
significant right ankle injury from shrapnel foreign bodies. He
They're
had
muting
several
out the
pieces of,
survivors' names, or
shrapnel
trying to.
embedded in his right ankle, and some of them were large, up to 10 millimeters, which is 1 centimeter, about a little bit less than half an inch. But thinking about that being embedded in soft tissue that is fairly large. And then one of them was close to the Achilles tendon, which is the large tendon in the back of the lower leg where the calf attaches to the heel.
Kendall, Oliver.
Yeah, they're just absolutely asset
Shoulder.
protecting
She had
the
a very large soft tissue
survivors'
defect.
names.
Fracture of her humerus, which is the bone in the upper part of the arm. Significant shrapnel to the left shoulder, and then across the front of her.
Once
abdomen,
it's
she had
the
quite a
victims,
bit
the
of
ones who
shrapnel
have
as well.
passed, they will they'll do their names.
911.
Shoulder. He had an actual gunshot wound. It was described on the CAT scan as a massive soft tissue defect containing multiple bullet fragments of the right shoulder. And then, of course, multiple shrapnel pieces in that area as well.
And what does massive?
Because they're children,
So this exit wound
survivors'
was described as
names
4
are
centimeters
going
by
to
4
be muted,
centimeters,
but
which
it's
is
literally
about
because they're
1.5
kids.
inches in such a small anatomic area for a child. That's
No, they'll definitely go over the deceased.
he had shrapnel injuries to his right thigh. So on the lateral part of his right thigh.
Thank you. Chloe Torres, exhibit 914.
This girl, she had shrapnel to her left thigh and also to the left side of her face along the frontal bone and then around this area of her scalp,
And where is her frontal bone?
right here on the forehead. On the forehead,
And there was shrapnel there.
yes.
Maya's.
Fuck.
When she arrived, she was scared, anxious. She wasn't talking. She was already receiving fluids from
She was
EMS
shot.
because her blood pressure was low. She was found to have a gunshot wound to the left side of her chest, which was a sucking chest wound, which is basically air is going in, but it's not coming out, which then caused both lungs to collapse. She had a very, very large gunshot wound to the left shoulder, the left arm, and then the right hand. The ER physician that was taking care of that trauma bay, he had to do needle decompression, which is done in emergent situations to let that air out, allow the lung to expand, and then he had to put in bilateral chest tubes to continue to allow the lung to reach the pleura, which is the lining of the lung cavity. He gave fluids, crash blood, and then this patient was one of the ones that was transferred out to a trauma center.
When you say transferred out to a trauma center, tell us what that is.
BAMC is typically where we'll transfer to, university, a higher level of care that has a trauma surgeon available. Reported that he had a bullet go past his thumb and then it created significant ringing in his ears. Yeah. He reported that when he was running from the active shooter, he hit his lower leg on an object, and he had a big bruise on his lower leg.
Dr. Hotmeyer, my name's Jason Goss. I'm one of the lawyers representing Adrian. I just want to say, I know that you would just say it's doing your job, but we appreciate that you did that, help those kids. I don't have any other questions.
Anything?
Can't challenge that.
No, Your Honor. Excuse, not subject to recall?
Yes, Your Honor.
So they
No,
just
yeah,
talked
no
about
recall.
the
Okay, Doctor.
The
you are
survivors.
excused. The rule's been invoked, so we would appreciate it if you just wouldn't discuss the case with anybody until you're aware the trial's over with.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, let's take our morning recess.
Let's
About
take
10
our
minutes. Please remember my
15-minute
instructions.
break.
Would everyone please rise for the jury?
All right. Well, let's go back because I didn't really get a chance to talk about the teacher that testified. First, I think it was first. We've only had two witnesses thus far today, I believe. Unless I'm just okay. So the teacher, before we got to this doctor, she told him where he was at. She went outside to help kids, came damn near face to face. Guy shot at, and still managed to get into a different classroom to help protect kids. That is amazing. Even when she was saying, we need to get in there, we need to get in there. It wasn't you need to. It's not somebody else needs to. It's we need to, because she was trying to save kids' lives. Adrian wasn't. Pete wasn't. The other 374 officers that didn't. She was. Going through this whole thing, we've known this. We've talked about this time and time again. But I'm going to be honest, I didn't realize the depth of it. Every single one of those teachers, fucking heroes. Protecting them babies. Doing more with less training than the guy who trained people to do these things. I understand what the defense was trying to do with her. We don't have to like it, but we do understand that they're trying to discredit her, right? The only problem I see with that is the fact that her testimony lines up exactly with Adrian's after shooter incident report, which lines up exactly as the first witness that got their testimony removed. Those are three eyewitness, testimonies that corroborate one another and just show us what exactly Adrian didn't do. Did the prosecutor mention that at all? No. Prosecutors are shit. They don't want to win this case. I'm telling y'all. They don't want to win the case. They don't give two shits. Yeah, we literally, the ranger that took that Adrian's report down confirmed it too. We've had feds confirm it. I'm fuck. Prosecutor will probably say that in closing argument, but can't refer to the excluded witness. Yeah, absolutely. No, he wasn't. Yeah, I ain't even gonna lie. I was prepared for the worst. I thought they were gonna go through everything again. So I was like trying to mentally prepare. Court TV obviously does a terrible job with muting when they need to, and then we get random hot mics and shit like that. But I know every single one of those survivors. And those kids are the strongest fucking kids that you could ever meet. Those babies are literally still fighting every day. Imagine getting shot at 9, 10, 11 years old. Those, I can't put into words how amazing each and every one of those kids are. I can't. There's nothing. Any questions? Anything new that I've learned today? Yeah, that teacher's testimony was new to me. Puff, I'm looking at Discord. I'm not seeing anything. Where'd you? Are you talking about the list? Oh, yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I don't know what I want to do with this information yet. I don't know what. Okay. Sorry, guys. We're running through all the technical stuff, trying to get everything situated so that while the stream is going and while this is going on, it can go as seamless as possible so that y'all don't have to worry. I don't have to worry. Our mods are doing an absolute amazing job. Couldn't be doing this without them. So we're just trying to take care of some shit on the back end so that when the trial is commencing, it can go as smooth as possible, because we already see how fucked up this shit is. And then I have been giving shout outs in the chat. I will when the first half is over, when we're on the lunch break, during that hour or so, then I will be giving the shout outs. I appreciate you all so much. Will we have to go through all of this with Pete's trial? Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. Lo siento tanto, los acompaño en la búsqueda de justicia. How'd I do? Read it a little bit. When is Pete's trial? Pete's trial has not been set yet. It's not been scheduled yet. Is this the same prosecuting team with Pete's trial? Yep. 8 out of 10? Hell yeah, let's go. I'll take an 8 out of 10 on my ability to read Spanish. How do I feel about all of this? I don't know what you mean. Like the court, or like losing my son, or that's a very broad question. So if we can tighten it up just a little bit, we'll be able to. If AG is found, will Pete be put on trial? Yes. I mean, he's going to be put on trial, but this will set the precedence. I got 10-10 on the Spanish. Hell yeah. How long is trial expected to be? They said 2 to 3 weeks. I have a list here of possible people that have been subpoenaed to show up and testify. What I'm seeing is that 43 of these subpoenas have been served and returned. I think maybe we've been through, what, 15, 20, maybe? How do I feel about the court case thus far? I feel like the DA isn't trying. I think they're just doing this to say, oh, look, I tried something, and then they don't care. Obviously, you see, they don't prep any of the witnesses. You see this. They are blindsided by Nico. And I'm not... Y'all have heard me. Nico is a slimy rat bastard. I've been saying it, but I can't even be mad at him doing what he's doing, because, like, I can be mad at him for doing what he's doing, but when it's like, oh well, he's catching the witnesses in these little traps and shit. Well, fuck, the prosecution didn't fucking prep at all. You know? Yeah, fuck Nico, but he's doing his job better than our DA is. Yeah, so the prosecution doesn't care. They just don't. Yeah, Nico is testifying on behalf of his client while questioning witnesses. Absolutely. We don't hear the prosecution fucking hardly objecting to any of that. We hear Nico and Goss, and I can't remember the last guy's name. We hear them say shit, and then when the prosecution does say anything, then the judge is like, well, if this doesn't recall with your recollection of evidence, like it's literally pissing me off today because I'm like, motherfuck, like tell Nico and the fucking Three Stooges to quit saying shit that isn't factual, that doesn't have proof and evidence, you know? Rob, listen, you're always it's always the time for you to give us explanations and everything like that. I may be wrong. I'm just I will say my thoughts on it, and then if I'm correct, obviously you're gonna know way more than me.
Hey, Brett. Hey, thanks for having me up.
Absolutely.
Yes, I didn't have any comments on what you were just talking about. I agree with that. My comments were about first what happened this morning. So what that was a witness proffer, and the word proffer. So proffer just means that you're proposing some sort of evidence at a threshold stage in order to determine whether it can be admitted as actual evidence. So it's kind of like a it's like a pre-evidentiary kind of hearing out of evidence. So that can happen in multiple different contexts. And the evidence can be, by the way, like a document, it could be a person, it could be testimony of a person or whatever. So most people know proper witness from the context of when a potentially charged criminal defendant, like maybe a co-conspirator, goes before a prosecutor, and they do this thing called Queen for a Day, where they kind of propose, their defense lawyer proposes what their testimony might be, and then the prosecutor evaluates how helpful that is, whether to give them some kind of immunity and so on, whether to give them a plea deal. But in this context, it's something different, which is that there's a potential expert witness, and they're bringing up his credentials and his to-be testimony, the testimony that he would offer, and it's for the purpose of the judge evaluating whether this person can really be an expert and can testify to that thing. So in both cases, they're called proffer, but they're in different contexts.
Right. Did the judge say that he was going to allow it? I can't remember.
I think he did. Yeah. If he did it really quickly. I got the impression he did. He certainly didn't say no.
And then here's my question though: is shouldn't this have been done long before?
No. Typically, that'll be done. That'll be done just before the witness testifies. Because, for example, you might have something come up where I think it rarely happens, but maybe you won't need that witness after all, or you could have. It's difficult to change the scope of his testimony, but you could possibly have something where you want to kind of add something or delete something from his testimony.
Right.
So typically it's right before he testifies. The other point I wanted to bring up, I've seen people yesterday and today bring up Castle Rock in a few different ways, the case of Castle Rock v. Gonzales. And that was a civil case. So the holding there was that, the facts first were that there was a restraining order and the police did not enforce the restraining order. And so somebody got unalived as a result of that. And so they sued the city or the police department, I don't remember which, saying that under what's called a 1983 claim. So it's a civil claim that the police violated someone's civil rights. And the theory there, the way you go about doing that is you say that the person had an interest in the restraining order that's tantamount to property, and therefore the police removed that person's property without due process. It's kind of weird. It's a little bit weird.
Right.
That's how you go about doing it. So you say it's a 14th Amendment violation because they deprived the person of property, and the property is that person's interest in the restraining order, the protected persons. And the Supreme Court said that that's not, they rejected that kind of theory. So the Supreme Court said there is no property interest in a restraining order for purposes of the 14th Amendment. So many people describe it kind of colloquially as the police don't have a duty to protect you, but legally it's kind of much narrower than that. If it seriously meant the police never have any duty to protect you in any way, I mean, this case, for example, I think the Adrian Gonzales kids wouldn't be able to proceed, right? So it's not, there are ways to hold the police accountable that could take a form of a criminal charge, or it could take the form of politics. You know, you can like hold the electorate can try to hold the police responsible, or the mayor can hold the police responsible. So I think it's, so it really means in a civil context, they don't have a duty that is actionable as far as, you know, suing the city. That's really what it means.
Right. Okay. Fuck, I appreciate it, man.
So it doesn't tie in. So there's no like defense lawyer argument in this case that says because of Castle Rock, Adrian didn't have to do anything. It doesn't have any legal relevance. It has kind of political or cultural or, you know, in spirit, it is relevant in spirit, but legally it's not relevant.
Yeah. And especially from when I was looking into everything, he wasn't like, he was charged with like essentially not doing anything. With right. Just negligence and child endangerment, because he knew something was going on, but then didn't do anything.
Right, and so you have to assume he had some kind of duty to the children and I guess also the teachers and staff.
Well, when I was looking that up, everybody does though. Like that's the thing that's weird is one of the things that has always been weird to me is why just Adrian and Pete. I mean, you know, I'm all 376, but literally if you on the side of the road see a child endangered and you don't do anything, like from what I've read from all the case laws and especially in Texas and everything, like everybody is obligated to, which is kind of what they're being held for, is not that he was a police officer and everything, but it was just that he knew that children were in danger and he could have prevented it.
Okay, that I'd have to look into. That would be a Texas law issue. I'm not familiar. Generally, the rule in most states is that you don't have any duty to help another person as long as you weren't part of what got them into the problem to begin with, right? So if I push somebody into a lake and they're drowning, I have now a duty to get them out of the lake. But if I'm just walking down the sidewalk and I see someone drowning in a lake, in most states, I have no duty to do anything at all.
I will try to find that again, and then send it to you. I could be mixing up a few things and everything. It's been a while since
there are some states that have an exception. Like I think it's Vermont maybe says, you know, I don't remember the exact scope, but you have to have, there's some kind of duty to help people a little bit. I don't remember the exact scope of it, but they are the exception. The general rule is you don't have to help people as long as you don't get involved. That's why, for example, some people will hesitate to maybe like give someone CPR, because once you engage and you start giving CPR, in theory, you could, if it goes really bad, you could be sued for negligence and how you gave CPR. Whereas if you just walk by callously, in most states, you cannot be sued.
Yeah, I believe it had something to do with because it's children, right? Which is why there's no charges for the two teachers that were killed or the teachers that were shot. So, with that being said, it's like, I think like you have a duty because it's children.
Okay.
You know?
And then like Army veterans says some states had Good Samaritan law. So then because of the situation with the CPR, some states passed laws that said if you attempt something like CPR, you're protected as a Good Samaritan. We're going to immunize you.
Yeah. See, I think we might be back.
Okay, let me get off.
I appreciate you, Rob. Thank you so much, man. Can we get some W's for Rob? Rob and Lindsay and Reese, they've all been doing an amazing job keeping us up to date with the legalities of everything.
Have a seat over here, please. Can you be seated in the courtroom? Thank you. State's called the next witness. She's been sworn, so you may proceed.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please state your name for the record.
Jamie Torres,
Fuck.
And Ms. Torres, where do you currently reside? Don't give me the specific address, but what town do you live in?
Uvalde, Texas.
And in May of 2022, where were you living?
Uvalde, Texas.
Now, I'm going to be real specific and go ahead and take you back to May 24th of 2022. Are you the mother of Chloe? And for the record, can you spell Chloe's first name?
Khloie.
And what grade was Chloe in on May 24th of 2022?
4th.
And how old was Chloe at the time?
10.
And what school was she going to on that date?
Rob Elementary.
And what grade was she in?
4th.
And do you recall what room she was in at Rob Elementary?
112.
Now, you were not at school that day,
No.
and was there something special about this going on at school that day that she was excited about?
Yes.
And what was that?
Sorry. She was excited. She left early that day to get bubbles and watch a movie after awards. And so she was excited for that.
And did she receive an award that day?
She did.
And what was that award?
The Good Citizen Award?
Now, at some point, did you receive a text message from the school?
Yes.
Okay. And do you remember what that message was?
Yes, that the school went into a lockdown and to stay away from the premises, that everything was under control.
At some point, did you receive some information that it was a little bit more than a regular lockdown?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the information that you received?
That there was, well, first I think it said it was a bailout to stay away, and then another one came in and said active shooter.
Okay. Now, when were you able to see Chloe on May 24th?
It was after she came home from the hospital because I was out of town.
And she was at the hospital for physical injuries that she suffered?
Yes.
And can you describe for the jury what those injuries are or were?
Yes, she had bullet fragments in her forehead and in her left thigh.
Now, those bullet fragments in her head, do they still exist today?
Yes.
What about the ones in her leg?
Yes.
And does she suffer from the fragments in her head?
Yes, she gets headaches frequently. And then in her leg, if she walks kind of far, sometimes she'll say that she has to stop because her leg was hurt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you decided if you will remove the shrapnel, or are you going to leave it?
As of right now, they don't want to mess with it because it's sitting to where it's able to stay. They did say if it was to move, then they would go ahead, but as of now, they think she's fine with it in there.
Okay. I'm gonna leave it at that. Ask the witness, Your Honor.
Ms. Torres, I'm very grateful to Chloe that you still have her, because as we know, a lot of people don't. So I hope she continues to be a blessing to you.
Thank you.
That's all I have.
Yes.
Pass it.
Okay, recall either side.
No recall, Your Honor.
No, Judge.
Okay, ma'am, you are released from the subpoena and you are excused. Thank you very
I
much.
thought they were gonna play the 911 calls. Oh fuck.
State calls Jennifer Haby. Step out real quick, Judge.
Yes.
God, that.
Good morning. Could you raise your right hand, please? You solemnly swear the evidence in the testimony you're giving this cause will be the truth, so help you God. Have a seat right over here. That microphone will adjust, make it comfortable, and speak up so everybody can hear you, please.
Did they say Jennifer Haby?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Please state your name for the record.
Jennifer Haby,
And Ms. Haby, where are you currently employed?
Blue Bonnet Children's Advocacy Center.
And what is your job position there?
I'm a licensed professional counselor.
And where did you go to college at?
Texas State University and then Sul Ross University.
And you got your bachelor's degree from Texas State?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was that in?
Education.
And what did you get from Sul Ross University?
Master's of Education and Counseling.
Okay. And did you previously work for the Uvalde Independent School District?
Yes.
And what did you work as?
I was a teacher.
And was that before you obtained your master's?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And are you a licensed professional counselor?
Yes, ma'am, through the state of Texas.
Okay. And are you licensed by the Texas Board of Professional Counselors?
Yes, ma'am.
And you're current on your licensing?
Yes, ma'am.
At this point, Your Honor, the state would tender Jennifer Haby as an expert in post-traumatic stress disorder counseling.
We're not in federal court. I don't know that the court can do that, but I
Do you
will
have
say.
any questions on?
Yeah, as a voir dire, I will say that I will agree that she is good at what she does and that she has every right to testify about what she did.
All right, so you may proceed.
Ms. Haby, can you, where are you currently employed at?
Right now at Blue Bonnet Children's Advocacy Center.
I'm going to
Okay,
step
and
out
the
for a
jury,
few
the
minutes
record, can
to
you
get some
explain what
nicotine.
Blue Bonnet Children's Advocacy Center is?
I'll still have this
Yes,
playing.
It gives a safe place for
I'll be
children
right
to
back.
come and talk about their trauma, abuse, and then through that, and so the child doesn't have to say things over and over again. They say it one time to an interviewer, and through that, officers, medical, CPS all work together through the investigation, and then they offer mental health services to the child, for the child.
So at the Children's Advocacy Center, you deal with clients, patients who suffer abuse or trauma of some sort?
Yes.
Okay. And through that, have you provided counseling to some of the survivors in this case?
Yes, I have.
Okay. Now, and for the record, those medical records and counseling records have already been admitted into evidence, okay? So what I want you to do, though, is can you explain to the jury what is post-traumatic stress disorder?
PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. It is ongoing stress after the traumatic event.
And how does that manifest itself? What are the symptoms of PTSD?
Can manifest itself in many ways, through the body, through headaches, stomach aches, nausea, as well as not wanting to leave your home or not being able to leave your home, socially, trust with others,
And we call that disassociation.
dissociation.
Is that what's called? Okay. And do you also see children with anxiety and depression that are suffering from PTSD?
Both, yes.
Okay. And are these considered a disorder
Yes.
or an impairment of some sort?
Disorder, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what are the different ways that these are explained through children with PTSD? In other words, do they express it through like guilt, or I mean, how does that work?
Through PTSD, can you repeat your question? Just so I'm answering it.
Right. Well, if they have PTSD, do they also have maybe other impairments such as?
Yes, I apologize. Yes, usually with PTSD, anxiety comes as well with it, hand in hand, only because the stress, your body becomes alert, hyper alert, and stress rises, and that brings on anxiety.
Okay. Do you know what survivor's guilt is?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you explain that to the jury?
Yes, it's when a survivor feels guilty for living.
And have you seen that through some of your patients through their counseling?
That's me.
Now, what is a triggering event?
It's when something happens that escalates anxiety in their body. It's when you're triggered by something and it brings you back to whatever traumatic event they had.
Is it a sensation that stimulates the nervous system?
Yes.
And is it a biological response in a child?
Yes,
And can you explain that?
it's an automatic response in the body. It's not something that's they think of. It's protection. It's dissociation, it's protection.
And what can be a triggering event in a child with PTSD?
I've seen many things that trigger children right now. I'm seeing helicopters, loud noises trigger children, colors,
What colors?
red.
Why red?
It's the color of blood.
Okay.
It's the fucking color of blood.
And explain to the jury what these triggers do. What do they do in a child physically that they're called triggering events? What do they do?
Some children, when triggered, they might cry. Their heart might race. They might get under a table and not want to leave. They might want to hold someone's hand for safety. I have many clients I'm trying to go through, so many of them.
Well, do these triggering events take the child back to the trauma that was suffered?
Yes.
Okay. And is the child able to differentiate between where they are now versus the traumatic event?
Not always. It brings them back to the event, and their brain believes, or their brain is saying, no, this is happening, although they know obviously it's not happening over and over again, but they believe it is. Their body feels it is, as if it's happening.
Now, what type of techniques do you use in providing treatment for post-traumatic stress disorder?
So I work with children and adolescents with PTSD, and we use sensory boxes, art, breathing techniques, reframing, like rewriting or rethinking the trauma knowing it's not there any longer, narrative, oral, and written.
Is one of these things you do called eye movement desensitization and reprocessing?
EMDR, yes ma'am.
Okay.
That is evidence-based treatment.
And can you explain to the jury what that is and how it works?
Sure. It's bilateral stimulation of the brain, which it's used to reprocess the trauma they've had. So,
I do AMDR.
although, may I give an example?
Yes.
Although they know the trauma has already passed, after EMDR, and bilateral stimulation just means back and forth with the brain, after EMDR, then they're able to talk about the trauma and it doesn't affect them as much. So their nervous system is a little de-escalated, I should say.
Okay. And what are the things you do with that? I mean, what specific techniques do you use?
So you can use this eye movement. So you can use a light bar where they follow the light back and forth. Or with my age, we use a lot of tappers, and all that's doing is buzzing their hand like left, right, and that's bilateral stimulation of the brain, which helps reprocess the trauma. That's what it's used for.
And what is TFCBT?
Trauma-focused cognitive behavior therapy. It is for children and adolescents to, at their own pace, walk through their trauma with coping skills, narratives, and so forth.
Now, is post-traumatic stress disorder, is that something that can be eventually treated, and or how does that work?
Treated, yes. Both TFCBT and EMDR are both evidence-based for PTSD for children and adolescents. So PTSD can be treated, yes. People do heal from PTSD, although it is always ongoing. And when I say that, that sounds kind of backwards, but what I'm saying is it does not affect them as much, because our goal, or my goal as a therapist would be that they're able to hopefully function day to day in their living, live a healthier day than they did the day of the trauma, right? Making progress.
Is there a permanent brain injury associated with PTSD?
Yes.
And again, you treated some of the survivors in room 112, is that right?
Yes.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge. Ms. KBT,
Yes, sir.
my name's Jason Goss. I'm one of the attorneys for Adrian. And, I want to start out by saying thank you. I mean, I know it's difficult even for treaters and providers, because you're having to experience that with kids, right? So
Yes.
there's a secondary trauma that goes on with you as you're having to work through that. The fact you're willing to do that is important. So thank you for that. I did want to talk, not necessarily, I know that we talked about, yes, you've treated some of the kids. Are they all confined to 111 and who were in 111 and 112? Or were there some other kids at Rob that day that have also come in for treatment?
I
Survivors?
treat many kids from Rob.
So not necessarily even the ones that were in the room
Not necessarily.
with the shooter.
Just-
And that's because, and the point I'm trying to make with that is that's because you can get anybody that's involved in that situation can have PTSD for that situation.
Yes, sir.
Including the officers,
Yes, sir.
including the witnesses, the teachers, the adult. You would agree with that?
Anyone in a traumatic event.
Sure. And I guess and I didn't hear, I know you worked at well, I call it CAC, but a child advocacy center.
Yes, sir.
Do you ever do forensic interviews, or are you just the counseling side of that?
On the counseling side, so after the forensic interviewer, then the client is passed to me
Okay.
for therapy.
And it sounds like you have a lot of experience with PTSD and trauma and talking to people who have suffered trauma. So I want to ask you some questions about your understanding of the medicine and the science in your discipline, and as far as like what you have been able to learn about how people who experience trauma, I guess, relate and talk about it. Okay. So you would agree that, like with the kids you've worked with the adults you've worked with, who has experienced that kind of trauma, the next day after that is not, they're not 100% accurately recalling everything that's happened perfectly, because trauma affects memory and stress affects memory.
Trauma does affect memory.
It does, right?
Correct.
And you know that. And so asking somebody the next day who's gone through a situation like that what happened, you might not get exactly what happened or exactly in the right order or exactly in the right times, right? Because if they've gone through a stressful event like that that has caused trauma, then their recall of that can be inaccurate. You would agree with that?
You might not. Every person's different.
Sure. And just so you know, I'm not talking about any of your kids or any of those kids at Rob. I'm not talking about any of their statements or anything about them. I'm using your experience to talk about, because there are other witnesses and other people that were at the scene who
Yes, sir.
also kind of went through this. You see what I mean?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the stress, you know that stress can be, like maybe you know, maybe you don't, but stress can cause things like auditory exclusion when it's happening. It can cause time compression when it's happening. Those kind of things can happen as the person is witnessing an event if it's a high stress or traumatic event.
Yes, sir.
Right. And so sometimes they don't hear things that you would think that they hear. Sometimes they mix things up, like what order things were in, right?
Yes.
You would agree with that, because, and I don't know if you've had this experience, but even people who somebody can be absolutely sure of something and then see a video that didn't happen the way they thought it happened, but in their mind, because of the way their memory has been kind of forged into trauma, in their mind it happened this way, even if there was evidence that they could see that it didn't happen that way. And that's because that's how people process in trauma. You would agree with that?
That's how trauma works.
Right. So, and that's all I'm trying to point out is that it is hard. It is hard with witnesses and other people to get sometimes accurate recounting if they've gone through a traumatic event.
As a therapist, I'm not there for accuracy. I'm here to work on their healing.
100%. But I think one of the things you do want them to do is process by, like you said, you use different techniques to process by remembering or recounting the trauma or going through and talking about their trauma. And like I said, it's not up to you, or you don't care whether they're accurate. But you don't care if they're accurate about what they're saying. You want them to process it therapeutically.
Correct.
Right. But your experience and understanding of how trauma works and how stress works on memory and recalling and recounting is really what I'm going to. Like, that it can affect those different things. It's a physiological effect that happens to people.
Yes.
Right. I'll pass it later. And thank you again.
No more questions, Judge, and she's excused.
Not subject to recall, Mr. Gus?
No, you're on.
Okay, thank you. You are excused, not subject to recall. Thank you very much.
Mike Westall.
He's coming, Judge, it's just a little slow with his case.
Okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this witness was previously sworn outside your presence. He is under oath, so you may have a seat, sir.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen.
God damn.
Would you introduce yourself to the jury, please?
Yeah. Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michael Whitskall. I'm a retired police officer. My career is with Dallas, and I'm here as an expert witness in training with law enforcement.
And what do you do these days, Mr. Whitskell?
These days, sir,
Yes, sir.
I am retired. I sold the law enforcement business, and I am now a gentleman farmer.
Does that mean you're broke?
Most of the time, yes, sir.
Real funny
Tell me what
prosecution.
your career in law enforcement is, please. Share that with the jury.
Kids are dead because of
Law
fucking
enforcement
inaction,
started
but
in
let's make a
Dallas.
broke joke.
In 1988, I graduated from the academy in 1989, and as typical, I spent several years on patrol, and then I switched to Dallas SWAT. I was with the elite SWAT teams for several years, and then I ended up getting hurt pretty bad, so I went back to patrol. At which time, in 1998, I was forced into medical retirement, and that injury eventually led to the loss of my left leg. And then I started a training company strictly teaching SWAT, hostage rescue, active shooter.
Why are we not
most
showing
other
his face?
subjects.
And so, how long have you been teaching, or how long did you teach SWAT, hostage rescue, and active shooter?
22 years.
And what is the difference between SWAT
We saw his
training,
face
hostage
earlier.
rescue training, and active shooter training?
Ladies and gentlemen, it all blends. It really does. Subjects that you learn in hostage rescue also will transfer across to active shooter. The difference being active shooter training is almost an exclusive of patrol officers, guys that are out working, the guys and gals that are out working the field constantly.
He's
SWAT,
also well known
you're
and
off
has
to
a
the
social
side
media
little bit
presence
until
as a
you call.
consultant. I got you.
So an active shooter training is for the people that are going to be first responders. Is that
Absolutely.
the best
Yes,
way
sir.
to say it?
Yes.
And did you develop an active shooter training program for Texas peace officers?
I did. The curriculum is what
Yes,
you're
sir.
speaking of. Yes, sir.
Could you tell us about the training that you developed?
First and foremost, everything is as much hands-on as we can possibly make it. So it's 25% lecture, PowerPoint lectures, and 75% hands-on out in the field doing drills, scenarios. I based this curriculum back in my military days. I was trained in hostage rescue and how to clear an embassy, because back in the 70s, a lot of people don't know this, but we lost a lot of embassies. Embassies and schools, there's a lot of similarities to them, long hallways, offset rooms, big rooms, classrooms and stuff. So that's what I based the curriculum on at the start. Now, when I was with Dallas, my sergeant, Tom Shelton, far-reaching, we went into schools long before Columbine, and we did what would be now called active shooter training. We did this at Sunset, I think that was in middle school, I don't remember, South Oak Cliff High School, and several other elementary schools.
And so you have decided to divide it 75%, 25%.
Yes, sir.
Why is that?
It does no good for an officer to be trained in something unless, of this nature, okay, of this nature, to be trained in this type of thing without hands-on, to develop almost an automatic response. I'm sure you've heard the term muscle memory and things like that. Yeah, absolutely. You cannot do that in a pure classroom setting.
And so you spend 75% of the time in the field.
Yes, sir.
And what does in the field mean?
We very infrequently, ladies and gentlemen, we able to actually get into a school, because a lot of times schools were running at the time. So we had false walls that we put up, long hallways, 100 feet long. We'd have rooms off to the side. So we would be doing drills on what we could simulate for a school. Now, we also did in this curriculum, the 75% part, we did, because we've had active shooters in churches. Okay, I know people kind of look at that in defense of God's word, but not in defiance. All right, we went to nightclubs when we could find one. We went to movie theaters, pretty much any place that there have been an active shooter, sir, that we could get into.
Does that include open fields?
Yes, sir, it does.
And how many hours was this training?
The total training, sir,
Yes, sir.
40 hours.
We noticed that there's other active shooter training for 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So how would you distinguish an 8-hour course?
8 hours isn't enough to do much of anything, sir, other than classroom work. They might be able to do some hands-on, but in my opinion, this is just strictly my opinion, it's greatly deficient in any type of what we would call developing muscle memory.
Now, did you have a title for your course, the 40-hour course?
Yes, sir, it was active shooter, immediate response.
And let's go over both of those terms. What does
Okay.
active shooter mean?
Active shooter, an uncontrolled situation where there is an assailant, either, forgive me, in a school, outside of a school, at a church, outside, moving around, it didn't matter. All right, so that is an active shooter. The whole situation is out of control in that moment. Okay, the immediate response,
And when you say out of control,
Please.
in the shooter part, is that just obvious it's out of control because there's active shooter?
yes, yes, sir.
I hate to be too
No.
fundamental, but the point is there's shooting going on.
Yes, sir.
And does it also include that there's people in danger?
Yes, sir.
And that's the nature of that?
That is the nature, pardon me, that's the nature of the beast.
Okay. And then the second part of the title of your course was what?
Immediate response. What this means, when there's an active shooter, we cannot sit around and wait. And most of law enforcement, from the day you are in the academy, they tell you never do anything by yourself. Never ever. Never make a traffic stop without somebody coming by to back you up.
Cowards.
In an active shooter situation, because of the lethality, the nature of the whole thing, we have to act, which can
I don't want to get pulled over while I'm by myself, but that doesn't make a fuck.
And that's what immediate response means?
Yes, sir.
So in an active shooter situation, and I'm just asking about what you trained
Yes,
in the
sir.
40-hour course. Active shooter situation, immediate response, if a first responder is there, what is your training as to whether they should wait for backup?
We've got to stop the killing. There's no other way I can say that, folks, okay? You can't wait for backup. I know there are curriculums out there, sir, that teach, always wait for 2 or 3 more guys. In my opinion, and the way I train people, you don't have time to wait. You've got to make a move.
And is that what solo entry is?
It can be, yes, sir.
And when you say you got to make a move, where do you make the move to? What does your training teach?
Depends on the circumstances, okay? Outside, if it's a big park, all right? I know where the bad guy's been. By bodies, by blood trails. I know where his direction might be going. You do that by auditory sounds, gunfire.
Nico
My
and
job
Goss
then
are going
is
to
I've
eat
gotta
this
get in front of him
motherfucker up.
to keep him from entering soft targets.
What's a soft target?
These days, pretty much anything, sir, I'm sorry. Schools, churches, hospitals,
Why is it called a soft target?
because there's no defense, they don't have, most of the time, they don't have security guards.
See, this is why I don't trust
I'm
these
sorry,
motherfuckers.
the ISD, I know many ISDs have police departments now, but for many years they did not. Hospitals might have some security. They
Officers
hire
don't
off-duty
prevent
cops,
these things.
But it's never enough. And
You were
can never put everybody,
2.83 times
you don't have
more
enough people
bodies,
to put at every door.
more
I guess by
deaths.
soft target, are you saying a target which people can be
Easily,
victims of an active shooter?
yes, sir, easily victims of an active shooter.
Is that why time is of the essence?
Yes, sir.
And what does gunfire have to do with what your action is?
Depending, okay, if I'm the responding officer, depending on where I am at, I hear gunfire, I need to march to the sound of gunfire, and I'm heading that direction. All right, I'm not just hanging back. If I'm in a situation to where I know that there's been an active shooter, I see all the evidence, blood holes in the wall and stuff, then I follow that evidence also.
So if you get there a little late, you may see evidence of the active shooting that's already occurred.
Yes, sir.
Or has been occurring.
Yes, sir.
But if you get there before there's bodies or blood trails, is gunfire important to you?
It's critical.
And critical, it means what?
I need to move toward that gunfire.
What if you're alone?
I need to move to that gunfire, sir.
If you are the first responder, is moving toward gunfire the primary objective?
Yes, sir.
Is it also important to locate, to tell other officers where you are?
It's all happening at the same time. Now, this is basic police. I did not teach this. They should know this. I get out. If I'm the responding officer, I'm on my radio. I'm moving to where I hear gunfire. I am telling my dispatch or anybody that can hear me, other people on the radio, I'm telling them my location. I'm telling them my direction of travel. And if I have information on the suspect, I'm telling the suspect information, you know, clothing description, hair description. I'm telling them I'm marching to gunfire. I've heard gunfire in this area. Might be around the corner, might be in a park way off to the side. I've got to get there, so, and I need backup. I won't kid you. I desperately need backup, but I also know I can't wait.
And so, when you hear gunfire, there's two objectives. One is go to the gunfire. The other is to tell other people.
Yes, sir.
Notify them either for backup as well as to notify them where the problem is.
Yes, sir.
Which of those takes priority?
Boy, because we are trained never to operate alone, my internal police officer says, no, tell them the information, tell me, but I know I've got to get to the gunfire. And you can do it simultaneously.
What does that mean?
At the same time, I can run to gunfire. I can move with one hand on my weapon or my weapon out and on the radio.
Okay, so it's not an either or.
No, sir, it is not.
And ultimately, you have a room full of police officers that you're training.
Yes, sir.
What is your ultimate goal for these officers?
Could you be more specific, sir?
Sure. Not only, well, let me ask it this way. When you run to gunfire, do you do that recklessly?
Never. You can move tactically.
And what does tactically mean?
Okay, I'll use the example of an open area. All right, hopefully there's trees, other things that I can move to leapfrog from one to the other. All right, I'm doing it fast, and I'm not doing it with reckless abandon. I'm moving tactically. That's what we talk about. Yeah, if it's a completely open field, well, I'm in a lot of danger. I know I'm in a lot of danger. So
You still move to the gunfire?
I'm still moving to the gunfire.
And by you talked about trees, is that this concept of cover and concealment?
Yes, sir.
And explain that for us.
Cover is what protects you from bullets. Concealment is what hides you from the bullets.
And so as you teach going to the gunfire, you teach them to do it as safely as possible?
As safely as possible, yes, sir.
And that's by using any cover or
Any
concealment?
cover that you can find.
Is that part of what these exercises are all about?
Yes, sir.
To go through that? Now, fear is part of this active shooter, right? There's a threat.
Yes, sir.
And does your curriculum cover that issue?
We
that issue of
discuss, yes, sir, I'm sorry I cut you off. We discuss how to handle fear. Everybody's afraid. And if you're not afraid of gunfire, you're a little bit of a knucklehead. I've been in the military. I was under fire many times. All right, yeah, I was scared. Same thing with being a cop. But you have to learn to fight through the fear.
Do you teach all the officers in your class how to fight through the fear?
We discuss it, sir. That's not something you do in the field, but we teach them, really to fight through the fear. Take a few deep breaths and focus. There's nothing complicated about it.
Take a couple of deep breaths
Yes, sir.
and focus.
And focus.
And is fear part of that fight or flight? Is
It
that
is.
part of what you teach?
Yes, sir. We discuss fight or flight syndrome.
And what is that?
It is, excuse me, fight or flight. Your response, your internal response, when you are confronted with something that could harm you, you go into fight or flight. It's a massive adrenaline dump, all right, that your body says, man, we need to get out of here. And there are physiological changes in your body that can make the difference for you. For instance, your heartbeat can be normal. I don't know what your heartbeat is normally, but it can go up to 200 beats a minute within not even a second. That's part of fight or flight. And you have to fight through it because your natural reaction is, man, I got to get away from this. And we can't do that as police officers.
So it's part of the lecture, how to fight, how to work through that.
We discuss that, yes, sir.
So you expose the officers to that information,
Yes.
knowing that it's a potential,
Knowing that it will happen, sir.
not a potential.
It's not a potential, it's a certainty.
And so now could we move to the field?
Yes, sir.
So how many days do you say stay in the field out of this 40-hour work week?
Well, I mean, every day is 25, 75.
Oh, every day?
Every day.
Okay.
Fridays were usually a little bit of a short day because when we say it's 40 hours, I guarantee you those officers were out there with me for about 50 or 60 hours. All right, 40 hours is all that we could give them credit for.
So that's the basic then?
Yes, sir. Well, no, sir, the active shooter.
Okay. And then this is where you set up different scenarios.
As best we can, yes, sir. What we would do is we'd set up the panels for the long hallways, about 100 feet, sometimes longer. We'd have rooms that were enclosed or at least half enclosed. We had shooting dummies, and we would move these dummies in around the room and things like that. So there would actually be something. Occasionally we'd put an instructor in there, but we use tremendous amount of airsoft, and holy cow, that stuff hurts.
What is airsoft?
What's that, sir?
Airsoft, what is that?
Airsoft. Airsoft is like a BB gun. All right, it's a biodegradable BB that it'll go away after a while, but they hurt, they sting, and all my instructors have to wear, and students too, when we're doing these drills, they have to wear protective gear.
So you make it as lifelike as you
as
possibly?
realistic as we can. There are things, sir, that I can simulate, emulate, and there are certain things, even in training, I cannot. It's impossible.
What do you mean by that?
Odors, sound, the smell of gunfire, blood.
So training, you're not gonna be firing off weapons.
I did not do live fire. That's with real ammunition and stuff. That was by choice because it was actually, sir, a liability issue. But we used tens of thousands of BBs in a school.
Okay. And as part of your training, open areas, did you train in open areas or
Yes, sir.
have a scenario of open areas?
We tried sometimes. We were very limited with the amount of the open area that we could use. Uvalde, we used a park, but there were people in the park, so we couldn't really do scenario-based training other than have somebody, an instructor, walking around, and the officers would have to maneuver into position to neutralize that threat.
And in the training, the 75%, did that include solo entry by officers?
Yes, sir, it did.
And did it include multiple?
Yes, sir.
So it's not just training for a group, how they should tactically move together, but also for one person.
Yes, sir. Our, again, 75-25, and I don't mean to be so redundant with that, but this is crucial. So many schools, even tactical schools, are death by PowerPoint. All right? But again, there's no way to learn. There's no muscle memory in what I'm talking about. In places like, well, anywhere we trained, whether it was a church, a park, we did bus takedowns, everything starts with one man. And after I am satisfied, which sometimes happens, all right, I'm satisfied, then we move on to 2-man, 3-man, 4-man.
And specifically, did you do this 40-hour training in Uvalde, Texas?
Yes, sir.
And the defendant, Adrian Gonzales, did he attend that training?
Yes, sir.
And when people attend your training, they have to sign in, is that correct?
Every day, yes, sir.
And you have records of that?
Yes, sir, I do.
And is it once a day or twice a day?
Now, TCL says twice a day now.
Okay. And so when you have those rosters, it indicates not only did somebody sign up to take your class, but they were there.
They were there
at least
every
twice a
day. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And as they're going through the training, what is the purpose of photographing?
All right, we took approximately 300 pictures every school. Actually, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we took about 600 pictures. I'd have to go back through after the training ended and get rid of all the ones that were blurry, and I'm nobody's good photographer. My finger would be in the way half the time. We used a big Canon.
So
I'm
incompetent,
sorry,
got
Nikon,
you.
camera for this with a telephoto lens. A lot of times, one is a matter of record. It helps me if I am subpoenaed. All right, I can go back, look through the pictures, and yes, the student, I can see them on this day at this time. Also, sir, the students like the pictures. We always made them a disc, or as things progressed later on, I was able to email them to the students. I'm no technical wizard, so I had to learn that one.
May I approach your honor?
Yes.
Exhibits 916, 917, 918, 19, and 20.
Yes, sir.
Do you recognize those photographs?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm wondering one. Yes, sir. I'm wondering why he doesn't have eye protection on in that picture, but okay. This is at the stadium. No, I'm sorry, I should. Yes, sir, sorry. This is at the
I don't
football
need you to
stadium.
describe it,
Yeah.
yes. I just need you to say, do you identify those as being your photographs?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
State offers exhibits 916 through 920.
Maybe we were both judges.
Yes.
I don't even know what they're fucking doing at this point. I don't feel good about this witness. I think Nico and the defense team are gonna eat him up. He said some good shit. Like, yeah, like let's fucking. You're supposed to run towards the fire and shit. But I don't know. There's something off. There's something wild that I'm not feeling. You know what I'm saying? Like, think these are images of Adrian at the training. Yeah, hopefully.
And we need to take up a matter outside your presence, so I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all go to lunch early, and we'll see you back here at 1:30. Everyone rise for the jury.
So we're. Wait. So they're taking it outside, but even outside for us? Is that what we're saying? Well, shit. Give me 1 second, guys.
Also, I can see why that's a concern for theirs. The purpose of introducing multiple photographs was just to show, because he's in different clothing, that he did participate in each one of them. I think that there's one that's obvious. 919, I would withdraw. And 917.
All we're really asking is just black marker over the thing, so it's not,
I can,
Yeah, let's go ahead and, over the lunch recess, go ahead and redact, what's displayed on the cap,
yes, sir.
and then tender it to them to see if they're satisfied with that.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, we'll be in recess till 1:30.
Are you the guy?
You can go have lunch.
No, I didn't. That wasn't a rewind. That was a hot mic. That was a hot mic moment. We were just listening. 1:30 would be Central Standard Time. So in an hour and a half. All right. Let's see here. Let me mute this. Okay. All right. Real quick, before we get to the questions, I do have a few thank yous that I need to say real quick. If you can just bear with me for 1 second. I didn't expect them to go to lunch already. I mean, it's about time, but fuck how everything's been going. Real quick, big thank you so much, Dan, for the 40. Be More for the 50, Angie for the 25. And give me 1 more second. I want to make sure that I get. And Mandy for the 5. Thank you all so much. YouTube, we will be going on our lunch break right now. We will start it back in about 10 to 15 minutes before they come back from the lunch break, just so that we can keep these kind of clipped easier instead of 9 hours a piece on YouTube. So we will talk with y'all here in a bit. I appreciate you.